My child, listen to me. Don't scroll. Don't blink. Don't breathe this off. What I'm about to say is not gentle. It's not subtle. It's final. Because I will not wait for you any longer. You've delayed. You've doubted. You've danced around my instructions. But this moment, right now, is a divine threshold. And once you cross it, things shift permanently. So hear me with your spirit wide open. Every second of this message carries weight your future cannot afford to ignore. This isn't background noise. This is a word with fire on it. A heaven-issued dispatch tailor-made for your soul. Watch to the end. Not because you're curious, but because your next step depends on it. I'm holding nothing back. And neither should you. What I say next will leave no room for excuses. Stay and prepare to answer. My beloved child, let me speak to you now with a clarity that cuts through every fog you've been standing in. I will not wait for you any longer, not because I am distant or angry, but because the hour I've ordained is already unfolding, and heaven does not pause when destiny has begun to move. I have lingered at the threshold of your indecision, whispering in grace, tugging your heart in mercy, giving you room to feel safe before stepping forward. But the moment has come where the alignment of time, purpose, and spiritual urgency can no longer be delayed. The earth groans for the sons and daughters to rise. The heavens are trembling with anticipation, and I, the Lord your God, have declared this window sacred. You've asked me for signs. I gave them. You pleaded for confirmation. I sent it. You waited for the perfect moment, but I do not operate within the bounds of your comfort. I move by eternal timing, and the time has come. This is not the hour for convenience. This is the hour of calling. My voice is not requesting your attention. It is commanding your awareness. I have carried you through seasons of grace where the pace was slow, where your delays did not disqualify you. But this is not one of those seasons. This is the hour when delay becomes danger, when hesitation becomes hindrance, when passivity becomes disobedience in disguise. I am not punishing you. I am protecting my purpose. And my purpose will move forward, with or without your participation. Child, understand me. This is not rejection. This is urgency. This is divine necessity. I have seen your heart. I have watched your wrestling. I've counted every time you stood at the edge of obedience and chose safety instead. And still I waited. But now the hour I have written, yes, written in the scrolls of heaven with fire and finality, is here. The moment is immobile. And I will not press pause while you argue with the fear I already gave you authority over. You are not unworthy. You are not behind. But the door you've been staring at is not going to remain open forever. The ark is being sealed. The page is turning. The oil is being poured. And I'm telling you, I will not wait for you any longer. Not because I am absent, but because I am already walking into what I prepared. Will you walk with me? My child, I have watched you with unwavering tenderness as you searched the skies for signals, as you've cried into the corners of midnight rooms asking me, "Is this you, Lord? Are you speaking? Am I missing something?" And time after time, I answered you, not just with a quiet nudge, not just with a still whisper, but with thunderous threads of my presence woven through your day. You saw me in the timing that made no sense. You felt me in the peace that came without explanation. I sent dreams that stirred your sleep. I released words through strangers who didn't even know your struggle. I placed you in front of open doors and delayed you at red lights to protect your steps. You've seen the evidence, child. You've held the proof. But still, you've remained unsure, waiting for one more whisper, one more wink from heaven. And now I must tell you with trembling love, clarity has been given, confirmation has been poured, signs have spoken. I am not repeating what I've already revealed. I am not echoing what I've already expressed. I am now releasing something weightier, not a whisper, but a command. A call you cannot delay, a divine directive that doesn't ask for your comfort, only your obedience. You see, child, there is a difference between curiosity and commitment. And this is the hour I call you out of curiosity. You've been leaning forward with interest, but now I demand you to lean in with surrender. You want assurance before obedience, but I operate on a different frequency. I give command not because I am cruel, but because I see farther than you, deeper than you, wider than your imagination can wander. I know what's coming, and I know what's at stake. You are not being forced, you are being summoned. This isn't pressure. This is prophetic positioning. You've prayed for purpose, but now purpose is answering back, and it doesn't come clothed in comfort. It comes dressed in urgency, laced with eternal consequence, dripping with divine weight. I did not rescue you from your past just to watch you reason your way out of your future. I didn't pour grace over your wounds to see you play it safe when it's time to walk on water. You've asked for me to speak plainly, and now I am. I am not offering suggestions. I am issuing instructions, and the cost of ignoring them will not be punishment. It will be postponement, and that, my child, you cannot afford. Let me remind you of something sacred. When I speak a command, I back it with power. I don't send you out empty-handed. I don't call you without equipping you. This isn't about your strength. It's about your surrender. It's about letting go of your backup plans and breaking up with your spiritual procrastination. It's about choosing me when the evidence hasn't yet aligned. That is faith. And faith, true faith, is what moves mountains, unlocks destinies, splits seas, and silences storms. I've shown you what to do. I've marked the way. But your obedience is the key that opens what's next. You're asking for me to shout louder, but it's not my volume that's lacking. It's your response. I'm no longer calling with symbols. I'm commanding with substance. Your spirit hath been stirred, and now your feet must follow. This is not the hour for half-hearted hallelujahs. This is the hour of holy execution. And child, hear me. You were made for this moment. Let the echo of my voice ring loud inside your bones. Move now. That command is not birthed from wrath. It is born from revelation. You are standing in a room heaven has already begun to exit. And if you do not step now, you will find yourself on the outside of what you were born to walk in. Don't ask me again if this is me. You know it is. My sheep know my voice, and yours hath been tuned, tested, and tempered for such a time as this. So now I ask you, not for questions, not for pondering, but for action. My command will make a way, but your obedience must answer it. The window is narrowing. The moment is sacred. And I, the Lord your God, am moving forward. Will you walk with me, not by signs but by surrender? Child, you mistaken my stillness for stalling, and my silence for scolding. But hear me now, not in riddles or poetry, but with the pulse of truth itself. I have never been cruel. I have never taken pleasure in your pain. My voice has never carried vengeance for the sake of vengeance. What feels like pressure is protection. What feels like heat is holy refinement. And what feels like me pushing you forward is actually me shielding you from what's behind. I've heard your heart crying, "Why now, Lord?" And I answer, because now is when the hour has ripened, when the clock of destiny has struck its appointed second. I do not rush. I do not panic. but neither do I linger where rebellion is disguised as passivity. I am a God of precise timing, not postponed promises. And when the hour strikes, as it has now, I move swiftly, suddenly, and with unstoppable clarity. The season you're in now is not a casual shift. It is a divine summons. I am not pressuring you to earn your promise. I'm pressing you to step into it before it passes. This isn't cruelty. It is mercy dressed in urgency. I could leave you where you are. I could let the moment pass and allow your comfort to cushion you into irrelevance. But my love will not do that. My mercy burns too brightly. I'm waited, wept, and whispered. I've watched as you rationalize the delay, convincing yourself you needed just a little more time. But that time has tipped. That hourglass has emptied. The trumpet has already sounded in the spirit. And child, if you don't move now, what you miss won't be punishment. It will be positioning. You see, my blessings are not static. They move in rhythm with my voice. And when I say now, the blessing begins to walk forward. If you do not walk with it, you stay behind. It's not that I left you. It's that I move and you didn't follow. That is not cruelty. That is consequence. And it's one I long to protect you from. I love you too much to let you sleep through your assignment. I am not threatening you. I am awakening you. My timing is never early, never late, but always aligned with eternity. And eternity is not ruled by your hesitation. It is ruled by my will, and my will is in motion. I will not slow it down for your fear. I will not drag it back to accommodate your comfort. I have built this moment to carry momentum, and the longer you resist, the heavier your regret will become. Not because I will withhold from you, but because what was designed to lift you will become something you have to watch from afar. Mercy calls you now. Mercy pulls you into the center of what I've created you for. But mercy has a sound, and it echoes now. You've heard it in your spirit. You felt it in your bones. And now I say it clearly. The waiting is over. The warning is over. The window is moving. You must move with it. Child, I'm not done with you. I never was. But I am done waiting for your fears to feel ready. I am done circling the mountain with you while you pretend your hesitation is wisdom. I am not trying to scare you. I am trying to save you, not from me but from missing me. From watching your miracle move, while you stand still rehearsing what ifs. I am a God who waits, but only for a season. Then I walk. And now, child, I am walking. Step forward. Now, my beloved, I've never been absent. Not once. Not even in the nights when your tears soaked the pillow and your faith fell thin as fog. In fact, that's when I drew closest. I didn't thunder from the sky because your soul didn't need noise. It needed nearness. I didn't break through your walls with a flood of fireworks because I was already inside, whispering in the cracks you didn't know had opened. The soft pause before a decision. That was me. The quiet hesitancy when others rushed ahead. That was me. The restlessness you couldn't explain, the timing you couldn't control, the peace that didn't match your pain. Those were my fingerprints brushing across your timeline, signaling that something sacred was being written beneath your ordinary. You felt me, even when you doubted it. You sensed me in moments you couldn't articulate, and deep down you've always known. I've been speaking. And not vaguely, not passively, not generically. I've been speaking to you. Personally. Precisely. Powerfully. I've whispered in silence, stirred in stillness, and I have not once been mistaken about who you are or what you're called to do. You've asked for me to speak louder, But my child, sometimes clarity doesn't come in the form of volume. It comes in the weight of revelation. And revelation doesn't always roar. Sometimes it drips like rain onto the garden of your inner knowing, growing something sacred without spectacle. I wrapped your days with divine nudges, little interruptions that were never random. You thought that sudden delay was an inconvenience, but it was me saving you from unseen sabotage. You believed that door closed because you failed, but it was I who shut it gently before it could collapse and injure what I'm building in you. Every feeling of discontent that pulled you from old cycles wasn't anxiety. It was me nudging you out of what could no longer hold your growth. I with the discomfort in familiar places. I with the tug in your chest during quiet mornings. I was the one bending the light through your window just right so your soul would remember beauty again. I didn't scream because I wanted you to learn my tone, not just my miracles. I wanted you to know me in the subtle so you'd recognize me in the sudden. This is the hour where you must no longer pretend you don't know when I'm speaking. You've matured beyond requiring signs in the sky. You've heard my voice too many times to doubt it now. And this moment, this exact breath, is one of those whispers, but heavier, holier, and saturated with urgency. I am stirring your memory right now, pulling forward the moments you ignored, but now realize were me all along. Remember when you couldn't explain why that friendship ended? That was me severing what couldn't travel with you. Recall the night you stayed up aching with unknown grief. That was my spirit breaking ground for a deeper trust. You haven't been abandoned. You've been alerted. Alerted by heaven's whispers. Prepared in quiet places. Formed in hidden rooms. Because what I'm about to unleash through you requires a history with my voice, not just my gifts. And you have it. You heard me. You walked with me. And now you must respond not as one unsure, but as one who knows. So listen again. The stillness is not absence, it's activation. The silence is not punishment, it's precision. The whisper isn't vague, it's holy. I whispered in silence because I was training your hearing. I stirred in stillness because I was preparing your capacity. And now, my child, no more pretending. You know it's me. And because you know, you must move. Not tomorrow. Not eventually. Now. There's no need to second guess anymore. The signs weren't coincidences. The timing wasn't luck. The peace wasn't random. It was me. I was the steady hand behind the scenes while you were questioning if you'd been forgotten. I was the one guiding your steps through the fog, even when it felt like stumbling. And now I need you to pause and remember, not just intellectually, but spiritually. Remember the moments when your heart burned without cause. The conversations that echoed long after they ended. The scriptures that pierced through your chaos like lightning through clouds. Those weren't emotional flukes. They were divine fingerprints. Had you embedded, engraved with eternal intent. You knew it was me. Not just in your mind, but in your marrow. Deep cried out to deep, and something inside of you, ancient and sacred, responded with reverence. You were never walking alone, and you weren't imagining it. You've been walking in tandem with my whispers, stepping on holy ground without realizing it. Now I'm pulling the veil back and saying clearly, it's always been me. You knew it in the pit of your stomach when the room shifted. You knew it when the air felt heavier and holier. You knew it when joy broke through like sudden sunshine after weeks of gray skies. A kind of joy doesn't come from circumstance, it comes from me. Your soul has always been tuned to my frequency. That's why you couldn't settle. That's why you couldn't stay where others seemed content. My voice disturbed the shallow because I built you for the deep. And deep is where we are now. No No more excuses. No more pretending you need 10 more confirmations. My child, the season of signs is closing. The season of steps is here. And you already have what you need to walk. You have the knowing. That sacred, burning knowing. That invisible but undeniable yes in your spirit. That was never anxiety. That was never a random hunch. That was never just a feeling. That was me. That is me. And now I'm turning that knowing into marching orders. I did not awaken you so you could fall back asleep. I did not stir your spirit so you could sit in spiritual slumber disguised as waiting. I shook you because the shift has already begun. And I won't let you pretend to be unsure anymore. You know my rhythm. You've danced with my presence. You've wept beneath my glory. You have known me in ways that make you accountable now. That is the weight of intimacy. It leaves no room for denial. You know it was me. You feel me even now. That trembling in your chest, that clarity cutting through the noise, the deep resounding ache that something is happening, that is the sound of my spirit confirming what you already knew. And so I ask you, what more do you need? If you keep waiting for another sign, you'll miss the shift I already started. Don't make me repeat myself when I've already written the words across your timeline. Beloved, this is me. Not a messenger. Not a shadow. Not a vague impression. It is me, your God. And I'm not hinting anymore. I'm handing the torch. You've asked, is it really you? Long enough. The answer is yes. It's always been yes. And now I ask you, in return, is it you? Are you the one who will rise? The one who will answer? The one who will stop pretending not to know and finally act on the knowing that's been burning inside your soul since the day I first whispered your name? You knew it was me. And now it's time to live like you do. My beloved, let us speak honestly now. Not in riddles, not through parables, but in the raw rhythm of truth. I moved mountains you never saw. I aligned timelines you never traced. I silenced storms before they could speak. I sent angels into assignments designed to protect your path while you were still wondering whether you were worthy to walk it. I posed the heavens not for crowds, not for kings, but for you. For your yes. Your whisper of obedience. Your sacred surrender. I held time in the palm of eternity, waiting not for perfection, but for posture. And yet, while I orchestrated in the invisible, you hesitated in the visible. You told yourself you were waiting for me, but I watched as fear disguised itself in your prayers. I heard the echo of uncertainty loud beneath the surface of every maybe later and every not yet. You weren't waiting, you were wavering. And I say this not to shame you, but to shake you. Because time is trembling again, and this time, I will not pause it a second longer. I know why you hesitated. I was there when disappointment built walls around your heart. I saw how broken promises from others began to stain your trust in mine. I witnessed the moments when you asked, what if I say yes and nothing happens? And oh, child, but what if everything does? What if the moment you feared is actually the threshold of favor? You thought you were being careful, cautious, wise, but all along, you were just afraid of being disappointed again. And I understand. I understand the ache, the caution, the guarded hope. But I am not them. I do not fail. I do not falter. I do not forget. I did not pour oil on your life just to watch it evaporate in hesitation. I've been waiting for your yes not because I need it to be sure. I already am. I've been waiting because there are things I refuse to release until you're fully in position. This next level won't respond to partial faith. It won't unlock with delayed surrender. The heavens are in motion. The pieces are in place. But I can't make you move. That's your part. And so I speak this with fire in my breath and mercy in my tone. The delay you called discernment was deception. The waiting you labeled wisdom was often worry in disguise. You were scared of stepping out because you thought failure might meet you. But I wasn't waiting for perfection, I was waiting for participation. You've rehearsed the risks. You've calculated the costs. You've imagined the worst. But you've forgotten who called you. I am not a god of gamble. I am the God of guarantee. I didn't invest heaven's resources in your life to abandon you halfway through the story. I positioned you. I preserved you. I prepared everything around you. And now, the only thing missing is your movement. If you say yes, I will not only respond, I will rush. The moment your mouth agrees, the momentum will multiply. But you must stop pretending you're waiting on me when I've already been waiting on you. Let this message settle into your spirit. I pause the heavens for your yes, not your hesitation. And that pause is lifting. My mercy is not void of movement. My grace is not a license to delay forever. You've known this was coming. You felt the weight of the waiting. And now I'm telling you, it's time to stop rehearsing what could go wrong and start remembering who called you. The pieces have already shifted. The place has already been prepared. And your name is on the invitation. But I will not hold the door open forever. You can't keep hesitating while calling it discernment. Faith is not passive. It's active. So come, step through before the moment passes. Heaven is not waiting anymore. Child, I need you to listen with the urgency your spirit already feels but your flesh keeps resisting. The window is not closing because I'm angry with you. It's closing because purpose is moving forward, and heaven cannot remain suspended in your indecision. I love you far too much to lie to you about this. The hour has changed. The season has shifted. The atmosphere around you is no longer holding still. What once waited for you is now walking, and unless you move, it will move without you. This is not a punishment. It is alignment. Purpose cannot be held hostage to hesitation. I have given you grace for the process, space for your growth, room for your wrestling. But this moment requires your resolve. This is the kind of shift that doesn't come twice. You won't recognize how rare this is until it's behind you. I don't say that to pressure you. I say it to prepare you. Because what you do next determines whether you walk with the promise or watch it from afar. I hear your thoughts, but Lord, I just need more time. But what if more time only grows more fear? What if every day you delay is a day you empower the very doubt trying to dethrone your destiny? Indecision is not neutral. It's destructive. It chips away at faith, erodes spiritual clarity, and keeps you circling the same mountain of maybe for years. I'm not asking for your perfect plan. I'm asking for your present obedience. I'm not asking you to figure it all out. I'm asking you to follow me into what I've already figured out on your behalf. The window is closing not to push you out, but to pull you up. This isn't rejection, it's redirection. It's the final bell before the doors shut, the final call before the train departs. And if you don't board now, you will miss a move that was written with your name on it. You see, purpose doesn't freeze while you decide whether it's worth it. It flows. It bends around surrender. It follows faith. And when heaven starts moving, it doesn't wait for those still doubting their place. You've cried for breakthrough. This is it. You've pleaded for a shift. This is the shift. But it doesn't look like glitter and glamour. It looks like urgency. It feels like pressure. It demands decision. And not later, now. This is the kind of moment that becomes a monument, a marker in your story. You will look back and say, that was the day something changed. But whether it changes for you or without you is determined by what you choose in the next breath. I'm not threatening you. I'm inviting you. Inviting you into the deep, into the dangerous, into the divine. But I will not force you. That's the sacred tension of love. It never controls. But oh, how it calls. And so I say it again with all the weight of heaven behind these words. The window is closing. And when it shuts, it will slam in anger. It will seal in completion. You'll see others rise and wonder why you still feel stuck. But it won't be because I overlooked you. It will be because you overstayed in your indecision. Beloved, purpose has no pause button. And I will not ask heaven to delay what you've been prepared for. I'm moving. I'm shifting. I am stirring timelines, breaking boundaries, opening doors. But the next step is yours. Heaven will not wait for indecision to catch up with purpose. But if you move now, not perfectly, but prayerfully, you will find that what was about to leave will linger long enough to carry you with it. I'm extending my hand. Take it now. The moment is holy. The hour is now. And I will not repeat this invitation again. My beloved, let me make this clear. I have never left you, and I never will. I am not walking away from you. I am not forsaking what I promised or turning my face from your fragile faith. No, child. What's happening right now is not abandonment. It's activation. This motion is the movement of heaven pulling everything into place. And that movement can no longer be anchored to your fear. I am faithful, but I am not frozen. I am merciful, but I am not motionless. You have asked me to move in your life, and now I am. But understand this, when I activate the next step, I do so with the momentum of divine precision. My will cannot, and will not, stay suspended inside the cloud of your indecision. I will not tie eternal timelines to emotional paralysis. I've waited, yes. I've lingered in your shadow, whispering truths when you needed time to heal, to breathe, to break and rebuild. But that season has shifted, and what I am doing now requires your movement, not just your meditation. You see, activation is not a threat, it's an answer. It's the answer to every whispered prayer you thought went unheard. It's the echo of every tear I caught in the night when you thought you were weeping alone. You asked me to make a way. I did. You begged me to open doors. I swung them wide. You longed for change. I authored it in heaven and am releasing it in the earth. But here is the truth you need to hear. Activation comes with acceleration. And acceleration will not stop to argue with hesitation. I'm not moving on from you. I'm moving on with or without your participation. Because I cannot allow one more season to be swallowed by your inner tug-of-war. You are not too broken to follow me. You are not too behind to catch up. But you must make the decision to move, now. Not when you feel ready. Not when your feelings line up. Because your feelings are not your Lord. I am. I've placed the next step in front of you like a living altar. It is not shrouded in mystery. It is not hidden behind veils. It stands in front of you, clear, simple, sacred. But you keep circling it with questions I've already answered. You keep examining it through the lens of fear instead of the light of faith. And now I'm telling you, in love and in truth, my will not wait for your fear to finish its cycle. Fear will never release you willingly. It must be abandoned. It must be rejected. You've been standing at the edge, hoping your fear will leave so you can leap, but it won't. You leap in spite of it. You move through it. You trust above it. That's faith. And faith is the only currency that activates the next realm. I am not looking for certainty in your emotions, I'm looking for agreement in your spirit. You don't need to feel strong. You just need to say yes. Because when you say yes, my strength will saturate your weakness. Child, listen. I am activating what you've been waiting for, what you've cried for, what you've quietly longed for when no one else understood the ache. But I cannot drag you into destiny. I can only invite. And my invitation is not indefinite. My word is eternal, but my windows are appointed. And the one before you now is holy. Yes, you are loved. Yes, you are chosen. But even the chosen must choose. So choose now. Choose to follow even when you don't feel brave. Choose to walk even when the ground seems unfamiliar. I am not abandoning you. I'm activating you. And the ones who move with me will walk into what others only pray about. Let it be you. Don't be left holding the memory of what I once offered to place in your hands. Move. Because my will is moving, and I long for you to move with it. There is a point, beloved, when your pursuit must shift from asking to answering. You have asked me to speak, and I have. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. I've answered through dreams you dismissed. I've whispered in the pauses you brushed off as coincidence. I've stirred your soul when your body was weary, and you called it anxiety, but it was my spirit awakening you to alignment. I sent voices into your life that carried my tone, but you wanted me to repeat myself just to be sure. And because I am patient, because I am kind, I did. I honored your seeking. I answered when you called. I showed up when you doubted. But now, the season of seeking without surrender has reached its limit. I am no longer asking you to ask me again. I am asking you to act. I am not calling for your curiosity. I am calling for your commitment. I'm not interested in you hearing me once more. I want to see you heed me once and for all. Do you not know that every word I've spoken came wrapped in strategy? Every whisper carried weight. I didn't give you breadcrumbs to keep you chasing. I gave you blueprints to build with. But instead of constructing, you kept collecting. And now your spirit is full of unacted revelation. Your heart is crowded with confirmations you never moved on. And child, I can't let you gather one more word without moving on the ones you've already received. This is the hour I draw a line between hunger and hesitation. You are no longer lacking direction. You are simply lacking decision. And it's time, past time, to decide. Not because I'm growing tired of your questions, but because your questions are becoming a cover for disobedience. I don't say that to shame you. I say it to save you. You've mistaken repeated asking for humility. But sometimes, repeated asking is actually masked avoidance. And I love you too much to let avoidance steal your assignment. You want me to speak again. But child, what if I already said everything you need to move? What if the next revelation can only be found inside your obedience, not before it? What if the sound you're longing to hear again is actually waiting for the step you refuse to take? You've honored me with your worship. Now honor me with your will. Lay it down. Lay down the need for one more sign. Lay down the crutch of hesitation. Lay down the pride that says, I need to be absolutely sure. Beloved, you are sure. You know it's me. That trembling in your chest isn't nerves. It's your spirit recognizing my authority. That unrest in your soul isn't confusion. It's the collision of your calling and your comfort. And now, I don't need another question. I need your surrender. And surrender isn't simply letting go. It's giving over. It's trading in your right to control the outcome for the honor of obeying my voice. It's sacrificing logic for loyalty. It's choosing faith when fear still whispers. It's saying, yes, Lord, when your hands are still shaking. That's the yes I'm looking for. That's the obedience that opens the floodgates. So now, I say to you, stop asking me to speak again. Stop needing me to repeat myself. You don't need more volume. You need more valor. You've heard me. You've known me. And now I need your surrender. Not partial. Not polite. But passionate. Complete. Final. Fierce. Your surrender will do more in 5 seconds than your questions could accomplish in 5 years. So choose now. Not because I'm angry, but because I'm ready. And I need to know, are you? Beloved child, let me speak directly to the ache that's been stirring behind your silence. The ache you've called strategy. The one you've masked as wisdom. I see you pacing the perimeter of the promise, staring into the breakthrough that's been trying to reach you while you count the cracks in the floor of your past. You've been walking in circles of almost, rehearsing what-ifs like lullabies to comfort your fear. But fear is not your comfort, it is your cage. And child, you have been caged too long by what might go wrong, that you have closed your heart to what I have already made right. The edge of breakthrough is not a place to pitch a tent. It is a place to cross over. You've convinced yourself that time is your friend, that it will wait while you weigh every possible outcome. But time, though divine, does not dwell in delay. It moves, and it is moving now. And I need you to know, you don't have as much time as you think. You've stood here at the border of promise, memorizing the terrain but refusing to plant your feet. You gathered words, gathered confirmations, gathered courage, but you haven't gathered the will to commit. You keep asking me what's next, when you already know what's now. You've mistaken stalling for strategy. But I did not call you to study the river, I called you to cross it. You've walked back and forth across the same line, afraid to leap, afraid to lose, afraid to look foolish. But listen, child, obedience always looks foolish before it looks fruitful. Commitment always feels risky before it feels rewarding. The Red Sea didn't part until feet touched the water. Jericho didn't fall until the shout broke the silence. David didn't win until he swung the stone. And you, yes, you, won't step into this breakthrough until you stop pacing and start moving. You keep trying to make room for more time. But time was never meant to be managed, it was meant to be moved with. And right now, it's moving ahead of you. The clock of heaven is not synchronized with your hesitation. I've stretched the moment. I held the door. I've paused winds and waited through your doubts. But this pause has a pulse, and it is weakening. I will not continue to place you at the edge while you pretend that it's your starting line. Child, this was your starting line. And you've walked past it too many times calling it preparation. You're not unprepared. You're undecided. And indecision is a choice. You've been telling yourself you need clarity, but clarity has already arrived. It's standing in front of you in the form of every divine nudge, every holy hesitation, every word I've given that hasn't left your spirit alone. The truth is, it's not clarity you're waiting for. It's certainty. But certainty belongs to me. I give you faith. So now, my beloved, I must tell you plainly, you can no longer afford to pace the edge while calling it prudence. I have not called you to orbit the breakthrough. I've called you to enter it. And the entrance requires yes. Not maybe. Not eventually. Not someday. Yes. Your breakthrough is not behind another door. It's behind your decision. And your decision is due. Right now. Not in theory. In practice. It's time to stop thinking about it. It's time to stop studying what I've already confirmed. It's time to stop convincing yourself there's more time. The window is open, and that opening is narrowing. Come forward. The edge was never your home. The breakthrough has been waiting, but it will not wait forever. Let me reveal to you a truth most don't understand. I am both patient and precise. My mercy stretches wide, my grace flows deep, and my love will always pursue. But I am not only your comforter, I am your commander. And I command not by force but by revelation. My timing is not loose. It is layered with moments, appointments, convergences, and consequences. I am not reactive, I am sovereign. I do not operate on delay. I move in divine alignment. And alignment, child, requires action. There is a myth that says you can wait without consequence, that my patience will always preserve opportunity. But I must show you the other side of my nature now. I am a strategic God. I design with detail. I calculate with eternity. And when fear replaces faith, delay becomes disobedience. Not because I am harsh, but because I am holy. You have treated your delay as if it were harmless, but it has harmed your own soul more than you know. It has dulled your discernment. It has stretched your spirit thin with tension. It has made room for confusion where there should have been clarity. You think you're being wise, but wisdom without movement is just fear in costume. I cannot bless delay when I've already spoken direction. When I said move, I meant it. And every day you stand still while calling it caution. You are actively choosing another voice over mine, the voice of fear. Fear is not your counselor. It is your captor. And every time you rehearse its arguments, you empower it to sit on a throne I never gave it. I've not given you a spirit of fear. I gave you fire, power, love, and soundness of mind. But if you continue to let fear replace faith, your delay will cross the line into disobedience. Not because I am changing, but because you are not. Understand this. Disobedience doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. It whispers, not yet, every time I say, no. It whispers, what if? Every time I say, trust. And you've listened to its lullaby long enough. But that lullaby has become a lie. And that lie has delayed your deliverance. This is why I speak with urgency, not to push you, but to preserve you. You are standing at a crossing point, and if you do not respond in faith, the tide will turn, not because I withdraw love, but because opportunity has an expiration date. Yes, I restore. Yes, I redeem. But some doors, once closed, are not meant to open again, because I've moved the purpose to another place. Do not miss this one. So I call you out today, not to shame you, but to shape you. Come out of fear. Come out of delay. Come out of the false comfort that waiting has given you. You've been wrapped in it like a blanket, but it's suffocating your calling. I am patient, yes, but I am not passive. I am strategic. I have prepared everything ahead of you. I have cleared the path. I have gone before you. I have even rearranged other people's timelines to intersect with your obedience. But if you do not rise, the story shifts. The pages turn. And I will not rewrite an entire chapter to accommodate fear disguised as faith. Delay has had its season. Now I need your surrender. Real, raw, courageous surrender. The kind that says, I trust you more than I trust my fear. That kind of faith opens the floodgates. That kind of faith accelerates the promise. And child, that is what I'm calling you into. No more delay. No more disobedience. Step now. In fear if you must, but step in faith. Child, let me reach into the quiet place of your heart, the place you've avoided naming, the part of your soul that has built a shrine to safety while pretending it's a sanctuary of wisdom. I know. I've seen it. I've heard the silent confession you never gave words to. It's not confusion that's been holding you back. It's not uncertainty. It's not a lack of signs. It's not that you don't know my voice, you do. What's been holding you is comfort. Yes, comfort. It's subtle. Seductive security that whispers, stay here, it's safe. The truth is, you've become used to survival. You've learned how to function in dysfunction, how to thrive in thresholds, how to manage the middle ground. But child, I didn't call you to manage. I called you to move. I didn't anoint you to adjust. I anointed you to advance. And right now, your comfort is the greatest threat to your calling. You've wrapped yourself in the familiar like a blanket, even though it started to smother your spirit. You keep saying you're waiting on clarity, but I see through the veil. You're not waiting for me to speak. You're waiting for the risk to disappear. You want the fire without the friction, the harvest without the hope, the promise without the pressing. But I need you to hear this now. Destiny and comfort do not coexist. One will always demand the death of the other. Your calling was never meant to coexist with comfort zones. I've been calling you beyond what's cozy, because what's cozy has become a cage. And I'm not coming to comfort you in your compromise. I'm coming to confront it. Because I love you. Because I see who you really are when you're not shrinking. Because I know what's inside of you when fear isn't speaking. I know the lion beneath the lullaby. I know the warrior wrapped in waiting. I know the burning that wakes you in the night. The one you try to silence by telling yourself, I just need more peace. But peace isn't the absence of challenge. Peace is the presence of me. And I'm not in the place you're trying to stay in anymore. I've already moved forward. I'm in the unknown now. I'm waiting for you on the waters. You stayed on the shore long enough, and you've called it wise, but it was really fear disguised as familiarity. And that disguise is wearing thin. I'm tearing the mask off your excuses. Because the moment has come, and your comfort cannot come with you. So here is my invitation. Come out of what's easy. Come out of what's predictable. Come out of the lukewarm living that has diluted your fire. I will meet you in the risk. I will walk with you in the stretch. I will catch you when the steps feel like falls. But I will not wait in the place of comfort any longer. Not because I'm impatient, but because I'm precise. You've asked me for next level breakthrough, next level revelation, next level blessings. But next level always begins with next level bravery. And bravery isn't born in the safe zone. It's born in surrender. And it's time. Time to admit what you've been afraid to say, that you've made an idol of comfort. And now it must fall. Not tomorrow. Now. I'm calling you into the deep. Will you answer, or will you stay cozy while your calling moves on without you? You've felt me stirring you, shifting you, calling you into alignment, and now I am asking for more than your attention. I'm asking for your participation in this prophetic movement. When you give, you're not just offering support, you're sowing oil into lamps. You're sending light into the shadows of someone else's despair. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. That's not a verse from the past. That's a word from me to you right now. I have called you not just to receive, but to be a vessel of overflow. If this word pierced you, then you already know. This moment is holy. Give now. So where the fire is flowing. Don't delay. Click the super thanks, join the mission, or give through the link below. My child, my heart burns with love for you, but I must tell you this with a holy fire that cannot be extinguished by sentiment. You cannot have both. You cannot ask me to carry you into destiny while your hands are gripping delay like it's your lifeline. You cry out, "Take me deeper, Lord," but you refuse to let go of the safety nets. You beg me to accelerate you, but you keep dragging your feet. You ask me to open doors, but every time one swings wide, you analyze it until the hinges rust. This tug of war in your spirit, I see it. I feel it. But I cannot bless what you refuse to walk into. You want destiny, but you don't want disruption. You want glory, but not the gap. You want miracles, but not movement. And child, that's not how it works. I do not transport passengers. I walk with partners. You can't stay stationary and expect to see supernatural things. You want me to do it all, while you hold on to the timeline of your own understanding. But I'm not bound to your clocks. I'm bound to your covenant. And the covenant requires movement. The delay you've justified as wisdom has become your comfort drug, numbing the urgency I placed in your bones. And now, I must speak plainly. If you keep choosing delay over destiny, you will forfeit what was meant for now. Yes, I'm merciful. Yes, there's door. But some doors do not swing twice. Some opportunities are oil-drenched and time-sensitive. And I have marked this moment with oil. You've been anointed for what's ahead. But I will not carry you forward while you're chained to hesitation. I do not pull the reluctant. I lead the willing. And your willingness must become louder than your worry. You've mistaken my mercy as permission to procrastinate. But I didn't die to give you comfortable excuses. I died to give you power. Resurrection power. And resurrection doesn't dwell in delay. It dwells in decision. So decide. Decide to believe me, even when it feels risky. Decide to trust me more than your timeline. Decide to take me at my word, not once you feel ready, but right now. That's how the destiny door opens. Not through dragging, through deciding. Destiny is not some distant dream floating in the fog of someday. It is built moment by moment through obedience. And right now, I'm offering you a holy intersection, the place where my plans meet your permission. But I cannot walk you through a unwalked door. I will not override your free will. But I will not rearrange eternity to fit your fear, either. So here is the line in the sand. You can't keep asking me to carry you into destiny while you continue choosing the comfort of delay. You've sung, "Yes, Lord," with your mouth, but your feet have said, "Not yet." That split has grieved my heart. Not because I'm offended, but because I know what you're missing. I see what's on the other side of your surrender. And it is beautiful. He is blazing. He is bold. But it won't wait forever. It requires your movement. So take my hand. Shake off the safety you've wrapped around your ankles. Tear the ropes of hesitation. And walk, not because you're fearless, but because you're mine. I'm not asking for perfect steps. I'm asking for real ones. And I will meet you there. In motion. In miracle. In destiny. Beloved, hear me now, with your spirit wide open and your heart laid bare. My power flows with momentum, not stagnation. It rushes like rivers, roars like thunder, and rides on the wind of obedience. I am a moving God, never still in purpose, never stuck in process. When I speak, heaven responds. When I move, angels go to war. But when you pause too long at the edge of obedience, something begins to happen, not just around you, but in you. What started as caution hardens into hesitation. What began as reflection calcifies into resistance. You've been calling it waiting, but child, it's become spiritual paralysis. A soul that won't stretch, a spirit that won't step, a heart too wrapped in fear to fly. I love you. I've been patient with you. But I must say this now with holy clarity, you're stuck. And you weren't designed for stuck places. You were made to move with me. The momentum of my spirit will not remain tethered to indecision. The cloud does not camp forever. The fire does not flicker in one place eternally. I move. I shift. I lead. And I've been beckoning you forward, not with pressure, but with presence. I've stirred your comfort zones. I've made your familiar places feel foreign. That restlessness you feel, that uneasy ache that won't let you settle back into old rhythms. It's not random. It's not emotional instability. It's spiritual movement, momentum trying to birth something fresh in you. But every time you delay, every time you stop to reanalyze what I already told you to obey, you stall that momentum. You quench the quickening. You reduce the roar of purpose to a whisper of regret. And I will not allow you to live in regret when I've given you the keys to release. You've treated this season like a tightrope walk, as if one wrong step will destroy everything. But I do not lead you through fear. I lead you through faith. And faith isn't the absence of risk. Faith is risk. It's holy risk. Divine daring. The kind of daring that says, even if I tremble, I trust. And that trust releases my power. Not in theories. In motion. When you move, I move in you. When you take the step, I take the weight. When you obey, I unleash the oil. But as long as you stall, the power stays paused, not because I'm withholding it, but because it can only ride on surrender. My power doesn't chase your comfort. It rests on your courage. And that courage is what I'm calling up in you now. Child, let me speak this plainly. The longer you delay, the more numb your spirit becomes. Paralysis doesn't always look like rebellion. Sometimes it looks like stillness dressed in spiritual language. But I am pulling the covers back. I am exposing what you've cloaked in caution. You are paralyzed by perfectionism, shackled by shoulds, drowning in delay, and I'm breaking that today. I'm blowing fresh wind into your lungs. I'm reigniting the fire in your bones. I'm telling you now, move with me. Don't analyze. Don't hesitate. Just move. Momentum is here, and with it comes miracles. But you must come out of paralysis. You must let go of the illusion that safety lies in delay. It doesn't. Safety is in surrender. And my power is waiting to move with you, but not while you stand still. I speak to you now as your creator, your redeemer, your father, not with condemnation, but with finality. The right time you keep waiting for. It already came. It already knocked. It already whispered. It already waited. And I, in my mercy, slowed the shift. I bent time. I held back the tides. I stretched the space between my command and your delay, not because you deserved it, but because I love you enough to give you another moment. I saw your fear. I heard the internal wrestle. I listened to your midnight prayers and your morning avoidance. And so I paused the momentum of destiny just long enough for you to catch your breath. But child, I will not slow it again. The shift is moving. The hour is upon you. The sands of divine timing are slipping through the hourglass. And this is your final call to move before it moves without you. You thought you were buying time, but you've been burning it. You told yourself, God will wait. And yes, I wait for the willing. But I do not delay destiny for the undecided. Purpose must keep pace with my will, and my will is no longer circling back to this moment. I'm not punishing you. I'm positioning you. But if you don't move now, your position will be vacant, and I will fill it. Not because I love you less, but because I love my purposes too much to let them rot in the hands of hesitation. I chose you. I still choose you. But I cannot keep choosing delay. I cannot keep inviting someone who keeps asking for the perfect conditions before taking the first step. The conditions are never perfect. The obedience is. I slowed the shift once, and even then, I did it with precision. I realigned people. I routed resources. I reshaped seasons so you could step in without being crushed by the weight of what you were called to carry. But now the shift is accelerating. The spiritual landscape is changing. The portals are closing, and the windows are narrowing. I'm moving on what's been prophesied. I'm activating what's been planted. And if you don't rise now, you'll watch others walk in what had your name on it. You'll cheer from the sidelines of someone else's surrender. Not because I'm cruel, because I'm clear. I don't delay for ego. I delay for alignment. And that alignment is complete. The right time was now. And the next time you wait for might not be your turn. So listen, child. You have this moment, this breath, this holy invitation. I won't drag you. I won't beg you. I've already spoken. The door is swinging, open or shut, depending on your obedience. If you step now, grace will carry you. If you delay again, the door will close, not with wrath, but with weight. The weight of what could have been. I don't want that for you. I've written better. I've ordained deeper. I've dreamed higher. But dreams require decision. And this one is yours. The right time already passed. This is the last time I will slow it down. Choose. Thou, my child, let me lift the veil of confusion with the clarity of heaven. You've been pleading for confirmation, but I need to show you what's really happening beneath your words. You are not uncertain. You are uncomfortable. You are not lacking confirmation. You are resisting confrontation. You are not unclear. You are unready to leave what feels familiar. And I don't say this to scold you. I say it to free you. Because the enemy has used your language of I just need to be sure as a snare to keep you stuck. But I am the Lord your God. I do not stutter. I do not speak in riddles. When I declare a direction, I wrap it in peace, not in the absence of fear, but in the presence of conviction. And you have conviction. You've had it for a while, but you've traded that conviction for comfort and called it caution. Beloved, there is a difference, and that difference is delaying your destiny. Let's go deeper. You've asked me, God, if it's really you, make it obvious. And I did. I made it loud in your spirit. I confirmed it through people who didn't know your prayers. I brought it up in places you didn't expect. I disrupted your patterns. I made the usual uncomfortable. I shut down the path you thought were safe. And still you came back asking for another sign. But child, your issue is not clarity, it's commitment. Your spirit already knows what I've said. What you're really asking is, God, can you confirm this until it no longer costs me anything to obey? But that's not how obedience works. Obedience costs. It stretches. It calls you beyond what's comfortable, beyond what's calculable. And that's where I am. I don't dwell in the echo chamber of your delay. I dwell in the steps of your surrender. You keep circling the same confirmations, hoping they'll evolve into ease. But I'm not offering ease. I'm offering encounter. I'm not offering convenience. I'm offering consecration. And consecration isn't comfortable. It requires tearing down your idols, including the idol of clarity. Yes, Clarity can become an idol when you demand it beyond what faith requires. And now I speak this in love. Your hunger for more confirmation is no longer about trust. It's about control. You want me to make it so obvious, so effortless, that obedience doesn't feel like a risk. But obedience is a risk, a holy risk that releases divine rewards. And you're standing at the edge of that release. Not because you're uncertain, but because you're uneasy. And that unease isn't a warning. It's a welcome. It's the sign that you stepped beyond yourself and into me. So let me ask you, how many more confirmations would satisfy your fear? 10, 20, 100? Or will they all be drowned out by the stillness of your indecision? Child, the truth is, no number will ever be enough if you refuse to act on the one I already gave. I confirm it. I prepared it. I paved the way. And now I'm waiting not to speak again, but to see you move. Stop asking for one more sign. Start walking in the light of what I've already shown. The discomfort is not danger. The stretching is not a sign to stop. It's the sound of destiny birthing. And it's time. You've seen enough. Now step. Not when it feels easy, but because you trust me. That's where miracles begin. I want you to understand this with sacred seriousness. What you call stillness, I see as surrender to fear. Not surrender to me, but surrender to the voice that tells you to stay small. Stay still, stay silent. You've dressed your inaction in spiritual language. You've called it waiting on the Lord, but in truth, you've been withholding from the Lord. You've made a silent agreement with fear, not with your lips, but with your life. Fear has offered you safety in exchange for surrender, and you've taken the deal more often than you realize. But I am tearing up that agreement now. I am breaking the contract of compromise, because I did not raise you to be paralyzed in the presence of opportunity. I called you to move in power, and power does not dwell in delay. Stillness has a place, yes, but stillness with me is not the same as stillness apart from me. Stillness with me is strategic. It is Sabbath. It is strength. But stillness apart from me is stagnation. It is spiritual paralysis. It is a quiet resignation dressed in religious robes. And I'm calling it out now. Not to shame you, but to shake you. Because I see what's trying to seduce you into dormancy. I see how fear whispers, if you stay still, you can't mess this up. If you stay quiet, no one can criticize you. If you don't move, nothing can break. But child, if you don't move, nothing can be built. Nothing can be born. Nothing can be blessed. Stillness has become your security blanket, but it's strangling the sound of my call. You've been waiting for a green light, but I already gave you the go. You've been asking for a push, but I already placed wind in your spirit. You don't need a new sign, you need new boldness. The kind of boldness that doesn't wait for fear to evaporate, but walks forward anyway. The kind of boldness that says, I don't need to feel safe to move. I just need to know He said go. And I did say go. I said it in the dreams you can't shake. I said it in the tears you cry at night, knowing you were made for more. I said it through the people who see what's in you, even when you pretend you don't. I said it when I closed doors that were never meant for you. I've been saying it, and now I'm declaring it louder. Stillness is no longer safe. Come out of the false safety of inaction. Come out of the lie that says delay is protection. Come into the dangerous, dazzling light of movement. I'm not calling you to reckless running, I'm calling you to righteous risk. And risk always looks like motion. The Spirit moved over the waters before the earth was formed. The pillar moved before Israel marched. Jesus moved before miracles manifested. And I am moving now, with or without you. But I want you to come. I want your yes. I want your motion. Because that motion will make way for miracles. But if you remain still, you are not safe. You are stuck. And stuck is not the soil where my promises grow. So break the silence. Chatter the agreement. Step forward, trembling, if you must, but step. I am with you in the movement. My beloved child, let me speak to the ache in your chest that's been building in silence, the place where your unanswered prayers have left question marks, the place where delay has whispered doubt. I know you've wondered, did I miss it? Did he change his mind? Was it never meant for me after all? And I need you to know, my delay was never denial. No, it was preparation. It was protection. It was me, holding the reins while your spirit was still catching up to your calling. You asked me for the promise, but I saw the weight it carried. You cried out for the platform, but I saw the warfare it would trigger. So I delayed, not to wound you, but to ready you. I wasn't taking it from you. I was preparing you for it. And now, here we are. The preparation has reached its fullness. The weighty has completed its work. And the door that I kept open in mercy, I cannot hold it open much longer. I held it open while you doubted yourself. I held it open while you healed. I held it open through your fear, through your tears, through your cycles of surrender and retreat. Every time you said, "Yes, Lord," then stepped back into maybe later, I didn't shut it. I didn't revoke the invitation. I waited. I watched. I wept with you in your war between flesh and spirit. But I will not keep waiting indefinitely. The door is divine. It was opened by my own hand, not by your strength, not by your striving, not by your strategy. I opened it because it was time. But timing is not eternal. Timing has a development of both a rhythm, and the rhythm is shifting. The hinges of this door are trembling, and I'm warning you now, not out of anger, but out of love. I will not hold it forever. You think delay has bought you more safety, but it's actually cost you momentum. You think you've been in neutral, but you've been in reverse, slowly drifting back into patterns I already delivered you from. That comfort you keep returning to. It's not rest. It's residue from old chains. I called you out of Egypt. I opened the Red Sea. I fed you manna. But you circled the wilderness of your own hesitation for long enough. I can't circle with you anymore. The pillar of fire is moving. The cloud is shifting. And if you do not move now, you will miss this door. I will still love you. I will still walk with you. But the window, the sacred, set apart, high favor window, it will close. Because I am not just your shepherd. I am your king. And kings move with authority, not anxiety. I will not drag royalty who refuses to rise. Child, what I have for you on the other side of this door is not small. It is not secondary. It is not a leftover plan because you delayed the first one. No, this was the plan. This is the moment. But I must say it. Your hesitation is not humility. It is rebellion wearing spiritual language. And I will not allow rebellion, even the quiet kind, to paralyze what I've poured too much oil into. The nations are groaning. The earth is aching. The time is short. And I need you in place. I need your voice. I need your movement. I need your yes. Not because I am desperate, but because I designed this moment with you in mind. To step, Not next week. Not after another confirmation. Step now. Because the door is groaning, and heaven has already begun the countdown. The delay was for you, but the next move must be by you. My child, hear me now, not with your ears, but with your spirit. You've been praying bold prayers in the quiet place, asking me for overflow. Overflow in your purpose. Overflow in your pavilion. Overflow in your anointing. And I have heard every word. I have leaned close to every whisper. I have seen your faith reach for more, and I honor that faith. But I must also tell you what is true. You've asked me for overflow, but you are still living like survival is the goal. You've been moving as if the greatest victory is not drowning, when I've already called you to walk on water. You set your standard at getting by, when I've destined you for abundance. Your faith prays big, but your footsteps still tiptoe like I might not catch you. And child, that disconnect is delaying your breakthrough. I'm not rebuking your desperation. I honor it. I moved in the wilderness when my people cried out. I multiplied oil for the widow who had nothing but a jar. I turned scarcity into supply when faith met obedience. But I never called you to stay in survival mode. I never created you to live like you're barely holding on. You are not an orphan scavenging for scraps. You are not a beggar hoping for mercy crumbs. You are a child of the King, and I placed inheritance inside of you. But you've allowed the trauma of your past seasons to become the template for your present expectation. I broke the chains, but you've kept the posture. You escaped Egypt, but you're still rationing manna like Pharaoh might take it back. And I'm here to say, Pharaoh is gone. The chains are broken. The sea has closed behind you. You are not meant to survive anymore. You are meant to reign. But reigning requires responsibility. Overflow requires openness. You keep asking for increase while still managing your life like everything might fall apart at any moment. That is not faith. That is fear wrapped in the garments of caution. You've told yourself, I'm just being wise, but in reality, you've been withholding. Withholding your full yes. Withholding your trust. Withholding your resources. Withholding your movement. And overflow doesn't fall where fear still governs the gates. You've got your hands open in worship, but your heart is still clenched in worry. That posture cannot contain what I am ready to pour. I don't pour new wine into fear-shaped vessels. I pour into faith-stretched skin, hearts that are ready to expand beyond what makes sense. So here's what I'm saying. I want to release overflow, but I can't give you what you're afraid to carry. I can't bless the area where you keep acting like a servant when I've crowned you a son. I can't send a flood into a structure still built for famine. You keep living like you're trying not to drown. But I need you to start living like you're ready to pour. Because I'm not just trying to get you through. I'm trying to make you a fountain. A source. A carrier of my glory. But I can only do that if you stop managing survival and start moving like someone who trusts my abundance. Will you shift? Will you trust? Will you finally stop rationing your faith and start releasing your fullness? I am ready to overflow, but I need you to live like I already have. My beloved, let me speak to you with the clarity of heaven and the weight of eternal truth. You've been pleading for me to move. You've cried at the altar. You fasted. You declared. You've whispered through tears, Lord, just do something. Shift it. Open it. Break it. Heal it. Change it. And every time, I've leaned in closer, not because you have to convince me, but because I love your voice. I love your longing. I love your hunger. But here is the truth I must tell you now. I'm not the one who needs to move. You are. I already moved at the cross. I already moved in the resurrection. I already moved when I called you. I already moved when I opened the door. What you're waiting on from me, I'm waiting on from you. You want heaven to shake the earth. I want you to take the step. You've treated this like a chess game, always waiting for me to make the next move. But child, I already positioned every piece. The board is set. The battle is already tilted in your favor. What's missing is not divine power, it's human partnership. I don't override your will. I invite it. I don't force obedience. I bless it. And right now, the next move belongs to you. You keep asking me to show up, but I've already shown you what to do. I've already confirmed the call. I've already closed the wrong doors. I've already whispered the next step again and again. You're not confused. You're immobile. Not because you're weak, but because you're waiting for me to do the impossible while you refuse to do the obedient. The Red Sea didn't part until Moses raised his staff. The Jordan didn't open until feet touched the water. The walls of Jericho didn't fall until my people marched. Lazarus didn't rise until someone rolled away the stone. And the miracle you've been asking me to perform, it's waiting on your movement. I've already released the power. It's already hovering, already breathing, already pulsing. But I don't pour it where there is no participation. I don't command the earth to shift around people who refuse to shift themselves. I'm not holding back your breakthrough. I'm holding open the invitation to become the kind of person who walks into it. You've asked for transformation. I've said move. Because miracles don't beat you in your comfort, they collide with your courage. So here is my call, not a suggestion, not a soft whisper, but a holy summons. Move. Move even if you're trembling. Move even if you don't see the full map. Move even if it costs you your comfort, your control, your convenience. Move in faith, not because you have full understanding, but because you have full surrender. I've already moved, child. I moved heaven to get to you. I moved mountains to protect you. I moved people, timelines, and seasons to preserve your purpose. But now you must move. You must act like it's already answered. You must walk like the door is already open. You must believe not with your mouth but with your motion. Because this is how heaven invades, not through passivity but through prophetic action. And I'm waiting. Right now. Will I see your movement or will I only hear your prayers? Beloved child, how I long to gather you under the shadow of my wings and whisper this truth straight into the marrow of your soul. You keep asking me for peace before you obey, but that is not the order of heaven. You've been pleading, Lord, just give me peace about this decision, and then I'll move. But child, peace is not a prerequisite. It is a byproduct. It flows from your obedience, not ahead of it. You are waiting for a feeling, when what I'm calling for is faith. You are waiting for comfort, when what I've asked for is courage. I never promised you would feel safe before you stepped. I promised you would find me when you did. And I am your peace. Not the absence of risk. Not the assurance of outcome. Me. I am the Prince of Peace, and I do not dwell in your hesitations. I dwell in your yes. So many of my children confuse peace with emotional stillness, with a heart that doesn't flutter, a mind that doesn't race, a path without questions. But that's not peace. That's numbness. That's comfort masquerading as clarity. True peace doesn't show up to escort you into obedience. It meets you there. It wraps around your steps as you walk into the unknown. It settles into your bones after you've leapt, not before. And I know why you want it first. I do. You've been wounded by decisions that cost you deeply. You've tasted disappointment. You've stepped out before and felt like you fell. But child, what you felt as failure was me building spiritual muscle. What you saw as mistakes were movements of maturity. You were being punished, you were being positioned. And I never stopped watching. I never stopped walking beside you, even when you doubted whether I was near. I was near in the risk. I was nearer in the leap than I ever was in your waiting. You say, God, just give me peace and I'll obey. But let me be honest with you, beloved. If I gave you all the peace you asked for, you'd never need trust. You'd never develop the faith that moves mountains. You'd never learn how to hear my voice in the storm. You'd only follow what felt easy. And I didn't call you to ease. I called you to impact. I didn't design you to live a life so quiet that it never echoes in eternity. I designed you to step into spaces that make your knees tremble and your heart race, because that's where you find me most deeply. That's where your dependence shifts from your understanding to my spirit. That's where your power is born, in the middle of the obedience that made no sense to your natural mind. Peace is not the green light you wait for. Peace is the holy residue that falls after you say yes. Child, you've been holding your breath at the edge of this decision. You've been waiting for the air to feel calm, for the fear to subside, for the roadmap to make sense. But I am telling you now, the fear may not subside until you move. The calm may not come until your feet hit the water. And the roadmap won't unfold until you take the first step. You've asked me to clear the fog before you move, but I am asking you to move through the fog. Because on the other side of that haze is revelation. On the other side of that tremble is trust. And on the other side of that obedience is peace, not shallow, momentary peace, but deep, soul-settling, storm-defying peace. The kind that can't be shaken. The kind that anchors you when the winds of life howl. That peace, it's not waiting to be handed to you. It's waiting to meet you in your obedience. So move, beloved. Not because you feel perfect peace. Move because you trust the one who is peace. Move because I said go. Move because I am there, already in the place I called you to. Do not let the absence of a feeling rob you of the fullness of your future. Peace is not the sign that it's time. Obedience is. And peace will come running behind it. Now that I've spoken, deeply, directly, divinely, I am inviting you to do more than just listen. I'm asking you to become a living part of this move. There are souls on the edge, hearts desperate for one word from me, and your giving carries that word like a river of living water. He who supplies seed to the sower will also multiply your store of seed. I said that, and I'm saying it again, to you. Don't underestimate the power of your offering. This isn't about money, it's about impact, eternity, obedience. You are not late, but this moment is limited. Respond with fire. Respond now. Use the super thanks, join the mission, or give through the description link, and I will multiply it for glory. Child, let me speak now with the weight of eternity behind my words. The timing you keep calling not right is actually perfect. It's not a mistake. It's not misalignment. It's not premature. It is divine precision, orchestrated by my own hand. You've been looking at the calendar of your comfort, checking for the absence of pressure, the fullness of resources, the perfect alignment of emotions, people, and circumstances. But I do not move according to your metrics. I move according to my will. And right now, yes, this very moment, is not an interruption. It is invitation. I have crafted this exact timing with purpose, but you've been rejecting it, not because you can't see me in it, but because it doesn't look like how you wanted it to arrive. You're not rejecting timing, you're resisting terms. I gave you a window, not just any window, but a Kairos moment, a holy threshold pregnant with supernatural opportunity. But instead of stepping into it, you've paused to evaluate whether it matches your preferences. And in that pause, fear has crept in, wearing the mask of logic. You've said things like, maybe next month, when I feel more ready, after I see a few more signs, but all of that is the subtle language of spiritual delay. It's not about time. It's about trust. And I'm asking you, will you trust my timing, even when it contradicts your terms? Because if you only obey when the conditions feel comfortable, you will always lie beneath the level of your calling. Destiny doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It walks through divine ones, even if they arrive in disguise. You prayed for doors to open, and I opened them, but they didn't look the way you imagined. You wanted the door wrapped in ease. I gave you one wrapped in obedience. You wanted the door to lead to rest. I gave you one that leads to responsibility. And that is what you've been resisting. Not the moment itself, but the weight of what it carries. But let me tell you, child, the weight is not to crush you. It's to prove you. It's to reveal what I already placed within you. And if you keep rejecting divine timing just because it demands more than you expected, you will keep cycling through missed opportunities while heaven waits to release miracles on the other side of your yes. Timing is sacred. And this moment, this window, is laced with favor. But the favor is hidden beneath movement, not comfort. It won't feel right before you step. It will become right once you do. So stop saying it's not time. Stop waiting for alignment that fits your expectations. Stop adjusting my call to fit your calendar. Because I move in mystery, but I never move in error. This is the time. Now is the moment. And if you let this pass because it didn't arrive in the wrapping you hoped for, you'll miss the breakthrough that was already waiting to be unwrapped. Obey now, not because it's easy, but because I said it. And my timing is never wrong. My child, my precious one, I feel your ache. I've watched you in the stillness, where your prayers turned into whispers, and your whispers turned into silence. I've watched your eyes scan the heavens, wondering, God, are you still speaking? Are you still here? And I must say this to your heart with a love that cuts through every layer of confusion. I have not been absent. I have not been distant. I have not abandoned the conversation. I have not closed my mouth or turned my face. You've mistaken my silence for absence, but I have been speaking all along. I've spoken through closed doors. I've spoken through the unrest in your spirit. I've spoken through the people you dismissed and the patterns you ignored. My voice hasn't stopped. Your attention has shifted. You see, you were waiting for thunder, but I was whispering in wind. You were looking for a flashing sign, but I was moving through subtle signals, through divine nudges, through divine discontent that would not let you settle. But because it didn't sound like what you were used to, you labeled it silence. Child, my silence is never empty. It is always full of strategy, full of stillness, full of instruction that demands you slow down and listen differently. I've been speaking through every no, every delay, every shift in your atmosphere. But you were so focused on one frequency that you missed the symphony of revelation I was unfolding in the background. My voice is not always loud, but it is always alive. And it is speaking even now. You thought I went quiet because you messed up. You thought the delay in your miracle was punishment. You thought my silence meant you were disqualified. But I need to break that lie. My silence has never been a sign of your failure. It's been a season of formation. I've been growing you in the quiet, training your ears to hear beyond the noise, tuning your spirit to perceive me beyond the predictable. Because where I'm taking you, you can't rely on shallow signals. You'll need to know me in the dark. You'll need to trust me when the sky is overcast and the answers aren't obvious. You'll need to walk with confidence, not because the path is lit, but because the one who lights it is with you. I haven't been absent. I've just been deepening the dialogue, moving it from surface-level requests to soul-level awareness. So pause and think. What have you been calling empty that's actually been echoing with my instruction? What have you been labeling as quiet that's been filled with divine cues? What emotions, disruptions, or closed doors have you dismissed as coincidence when they were actually conversations? Child, this is the moment I'm asking you to return. Return not just to prayer but to perception. Return to the discipline of discernment. Return to the wonder of knowing that I still speak, even in whispers, even in pauses, even in pathways that make no sense at first glance. You've asked me to speak louder, but I'm asking you to listen deeper. Because I am here, I am near, and I never stopped speaking. You just needed to learn how to hear me where you least expected. My child, listen, truly listen, because this is where your understanding must shift, or you will continue to miss me in the very moments I designed to carry you forward. You've called this season bad timing. You've looked at your circumstances, the chaos, the disruptions, the plans that fell apart in your hands, and you've whispered to yourself, this couldn't be God. Not like this. Not now. But I, the Lord your God, say otherwise. This is not random. This is not a detour. This is not a mistake. This is divine interruption. I have stepped in, not to derail you, but to reveal me. I disrupted your plans because they were too small. I shook your comfort because it was making you spiritually sleepy. I brought this interruption because you were settling for a version of your life that looked nothing like the scroll I wrote about you in heaven. I didn't come to embarrass you, to sabotage your goals, or to confuse you. I came to wake you up. Because the road you were on, while it made sense to your logic, was slowly draining the oil I placed in you. You were succeeding by the world's standard, but your spirit was starving. And I will not allow your gifting to outpace your intimacy with me. I will not allow your schedule to squeeze out your surrender. So I interrupted. I allowed things to fall that you were propping up in your own strength. I allowed relationships to shift. I allowed the door to close, the promotion to pass, the delay to hit. Not because I'm punishing you, but because I'm protecting you. Protecting you from the version of your life that you built without letting me be the architect. You see, what you call bad timing, I call rescue. I call realignment. I call it revelation in disguise. You were about to make a decision out of pressure, not purpose. You were about to move from fear, not faith. And so I intervened. I redirected your momentum so I could restore your discernment. And yes, I know it frustrated you. I know it confused you. I know it left you staring at the sky saying, "Why now, God? Why like this?" But child, I move in ways that don't fit into your calendar. I move in interruptions because it's the only way I can get your attention when you've stopped listening in the stillness. I didn't just interrupt your plan. I inserted my hand. I interrupted your comfort because your calling is too weighty to be carried in ease alone. So now I ask you, will you continue to resist what I have allowed? Or will you reframe it? Will you continue to call this a detour? Or will you finally recognize it as divine redirection? Because how you name a season determines how you walk through it. If you call it punishment, you'll miss the provision. If you call it chaos, you'll miss the clarity. But if you call it what it truly is, a holy interruption, then you'll begin to see me moving even in the breaking. You'll begin to hear me in the unraveling. You'll begin to trust me, not because you understand the route, but because you recognize the author. And I am the author of your days, your destiny, your deliverance. Don't resist this interruption, child. Embrace it, because in it, I'm doing a new thing, and no, it's not convenient, but it is divine. Let go of your timeline and lean into my timing. What you thought would delay is actually design. And I'm not just interrupting your life. I'm upgrading it. I know the sting you felt when that door slammed shut. I saw the way you stood in front of it, stunned and disoriented, like your breath had been stolen. You had hoped, planned, believed. You had invested prayers into that path. You had imagined your future behind that door. So when it closed, abruptly, painfully, you thought it was judgment. You thought I was punishing you. But I need you to hear me clearly now. I didn't close the door to punish you. I closed it to redirect you. I closed it because what was behind it would have drained you. I closed it because it would have tied you to people who could not walk with you into your next season. I closed it not in wrath, but in relentless mercy. Because sometimes my love looks like locked doors. You only saw the opportunity, but I saw the outcome. I saw how much of your peace it would cost. I saw how far it would pull you from your purpose. I saw the compromises you would have made to keep it open. And because I love you too much to let you trade your anointing for access, I shut it myself. Yes, I did. I let them say no. I allowed the rejection. I permitted the ending. I orchestrated the silence. Not to destroy you, but to protect what I placed inside of you. Because the version of your destiny that requires you to shrink, bend, or bleed for approval is not the version I wrote. You thought that door was the prize. But child, you are the prize. And I'm not going to let you walk through anything that diminishes the royalty I placed within you. I know it's hard to praise me for closed doors, but someday soon, you'll look back and weep with gratitude over the ones I refused to let open. You'll thank me for the relationship that ended. You'll praise me for the job that didn't work out. You'll see the path you were begging for was paved in your own destruction, and I stopped it. Not because you asked, but because you are mine. That is the kind of father I am. I don't give you everything you ask for. I give you what preserves your purpose. And sometimes that means closing the door so loudly that you can't misinterpret it. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. And clarity is a gift, even when it's wrapped in disappointment. So take a deep breath. Wipe your tears. Step back from the door you've been pounding on. And look around, because I'm not just closing doors. I'm opening new ones. Doors that match the maturity I've cultivated in you. Doors that require obedience, not compromise. Doors that lead to fullness, not fragments. But you will never see them if your eyes stay glued to what I've already shut. Trust me. Trust me not just when I say yes, but when I say no more. Because every no I give is actually a louder yes to something greater, something aligned, something sacred, something that won't cost you your soul to maintain. I closed the door, child, but only so I could lead you to one that opens without breaking you in the process. My child, I know the sting you felt when the door slammed shut. I saw the way you stood in front of it, stunned and disoriented, like your breath had been stolen. You had hoped, planned, believed. You had invested prayers into that path. You had imagined your future behind that door. So when it closed, abruptly, painfully, you thought it was judgment. You thought I was punishing you. But I need you to hear me clearly now. I didn't close the door to punish you. I closed it to redirect you. I closed it because what was behind it would have drained you. I closed it because it would have tied you to people who could not walk with you into your next season. I closed it not in wrath, but in relentless mercy. Because sometimes my love looks like locked doors. You only saw the opportunity, but I saw the outcome. I saw how much of your peace it would cost. I saw how far it would pull you from your purpose. I saw the compromises you would have made to keep it open. And because I love you too much to let you trade your anointing for access, I shut it myself. Yes, I did. I let them say no. I allowed the rejection. I permitted the ending. I orchestrated the silence. Not to destroy you, but to protect what I placed inside of you. Because the version of your destiny that requires you to shrink, bend, or bleed for approval is not the version I wrote. You thought that door was the prize. But child, you are the prize. And I'm not going to let you walk through anything that diminishes the royalty I placed within you. I know, it's hard to praise me for closed doors. But someday soon, you'll look back and weep with gratitude over the ones I refused to let open. You'll thank me for the relationship that ended. You'll praise me for the job that didn't work out. You'll see the path you were begging for was paved in your own destruction, and I stopped it, not because you asked, but because you are mine. That is the kind of father I am. I don't give you everything you asked for. I give you what preserves your purpose. And sometimes that means closing the door so loudly that you can't misinterpret it. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. And clarity is a gift, even when it's wrapped in disappointment. So take a deep breath. Wipe your tears. Step back from the door you've been pounding on. And look around, because I'm not just closing doors. I'm opening new ones. Doors that match the maturity I've cultivated in you. Doors that require obedience, not compromise. Doors that lead to fullness, not fragments. But you'll never see them if your eyes stay glued to what I've already shut. Trust me. Trust me not just when I say yes, but when I say no more. Because every no I give is actually a louder yes to something greater, something aligned, something sacred, something that won't cost you your soul to maintain. I closed the door, child, but only so I could lead you to one that opens without breaking you in the process. My child, I know the sting you felt when the door slammed shut. I saw the way you stood in front of it, stunned and disoriented, like your breath had been stolen. You had hoped, planned, believed. You had invested prayers into that path. You had imagined your future behind that door. So when it closed abruptly, painfully, you thought it was judgment. You thought I was punishing you. But I need you to hear me clearly now. I didn't close the door to punish you. I closed it to redirect you. I closed it because what was behind it would have drained you. I closed it because it would have tied you to people who could not walk with you into your next season. I closed it not in wrath, but in relentless mercy. Because sometimes my love looks like locked doors. You only saw the opportunity, but I saw the outcome. I saw how much of your peace it would cost. I saw how far it would pull you from your purpose. I saw the compromises you would have made to keep it open. And because I love you too much to let you trade your anointing for access, I shut it myself. Yes, I did. I let them say no. I allowed the rejection. I permitted the ending. I orchestrated the silence. Not to destroy you, but to protect what I placed inside of you. Because the version of your destiny that requires you to shrink, bend, or bleed for approval is not the version I wrote. You thought that door was the prize. But child, you are the prize. And I'm not going to let you walk through anything that diminishes the royalty I placed within you. I know, it's hard to praise me for closed doors. But someday soon, you'll look back and weep with gratitude over the ones I refused to let open. You'll thank me for the relationship that ended. You'll praise me for the job that didn't work out. You'll see the path you were begging for was paved in your own destruction, and I stopped it, not because you asked, but because you are mine. That is the kind of father I am. I don't give you everything you ask for. I give you what preserves your purpose. And sometimes that means closing the door so loudly that you can't misinterpret it. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. And clarity is a gift, even when it's wrapped in disappointment. So take a deep breath. Wipe your tears. Step back from the door you've been pounding on. And look around, because I'm not just closing doors. I'm opening new ones. Doors that match the maturity I've cultivated in you. Doors that require obedience, not compromise. Doors that lead to fullness, not fragments. But you'll never see them if your eyes stay glued to what I've already shut. Trust me. Trust me not just when I say yes, but when I say no more. Because every no I give is actually a louder yes to something greater, something aligned, something sacred, something that won't cost you your soul to maintain. I close the door, child, but only so I could lead you to one that opens without breaking you in the process. My child, I see you running in circles. I see your heart rehearsing conversations, revisiting wounds, reanalyzing the pain of what never got resolved. You keep saying, I just need closure, like it's a door someone else has the key to. But I need you to understand something deeply, fully, eternally. Closure is not the goal. Freedom is. And freedom does not require permission from your past. It does not require validation from those who wounded you. It does not wait for apologies. Freedom begins the moment you stop giving your history the authority to govern your healing. You keep chasing after something that I already placed within you, not outside you. I am not waiting for someone else to tie a neat bow around your trauma. I already broke the chains. I already tore the veil. I already declared, it is finished. What you call unfinished, I've already completed in the spirit. The enemy loves to convince you that closure is the cure, that until you understand why it happened, who meant what, or why they left, you can't move on. But that's a lie wrapped in sentiment. Closure isn't your inheritance, wholeness is. And I've been offering it, not through explanations, but through exchange. I've been inviting you to hand me your confusion in return for clarity. I've been waiting to trade your bitterness for beauty, your despair for destiny. But you keep circling the ruins looking for a sign that never comes. You keep hoping they'll reach out, that they'll take responsibility, that they'll give you the words your heart still aches to hear. And every time they don't, your heart breaks all over again. But child, why are you waiting for man to give you what only I can release? I know what they did hurt. I know what they didn't say still echoes. I know how you carry the weight of what could have been if only things had ended differently. But I didn't ask you to wait on their closure. I asked you to walk in my liberty. And my liberty doesn't hinge on their repentance. It flows from my blood. It is finished. And if you keep anchoring your healing to human resolution, you will stay trapped in a story I already wrote in heaven. A wound may have come from their hands, but healing comes from mine. You don't need closure. You need release. And I am standing here, even now, offering it. Offering you the power to no longer define yourself by a door that closed without explanation. offering you the strength to no longer chase ghosts for answers, offering you the holy audacity to walk away from what never served your soul, even if you never get a reason. So today I say, come out of the cycle. Stop searching for peace in people who were never meant to be your source. Stop waiting for closure when I already authored your freedom. That chapter is done, not because they said so, but because I said so. That pain is no longer your identity. That silence no longer gets to shape your sound. You are not the version of yourself that was left behind when they walked away. You are not the sum of what never got explained. You are mine. And who the sun sets free is free indeed. You don't need their closure. You already have my cross. That's where the final word was spoken. That's where the chains broke. That's where your freedom started. And nothing they did or didn't say can reverse what I declared in that moment. So let go of the chase and step into the liberty that's been waiting for you all along. My beloved child, I see you, standing on the edge of everything I've called you into. I see your heart pounding beneath the surface of your stillness. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right conditions. You tell yourself that when things align, when the money comes, when the fear leaves, when the confirmation is clearer, then you'll move. But I must say this to you now with the weight of holy fire in my breath. Faith was never supposed to feel safe. Faith was never meant to be logical. Faith was never meant to wait for comfort. Faith begins where your control ends. And child, you are still standing in the realm of control, calling it wisdom. But I call it what it truly is, delay born of fear. You've mistaken faith for a feeling, as if you're supposed to wait until every anxiety leaves before you leap. But faith is not the absence of fear. It's movement in spite of it. You keep asking me to remove the tension, but I place the tension there to test your trust. I want you to walk out not because you feel ready, but because you know I am already there. That is faith, trusting the God who led you to the edge, even when you can't see what's on the other side. And child, I did not lead you this far to abandon you now. I've already gone ahead. I've already prepared the ground. I've already released the favor. But you cannot access it from the shoreline of your comfort zone. I know what's stopping you. You want security before surrender. You want stability before obedience. But I never promised safety. I promised presence. I never promised clarity. I promised companionship. And I am here. I've been whispering, come, just like I did to Peter when he stood on that boat. And like him, you've been watching the wind, calculating the risk, trying to predict the outcome. But child, storms don't stop me, and they don't stop my word. My word to you was come. That's it. No step two. No detailed strategy. Just one word to walk on, and it's still enough. That's all faith needs, a word, not a guarantee. You say you're waiting for peace, but peace is a person, and I am already out on the water. So why are you still in the boat? Why are you still mapping out backup plans for what I've already called done? You were never meant to play it safe. You were made to move mountains. You were made to walk through fire and not be burned. You were made to do the impossible, but impossible doesn't happen until you move. So stop waiting for the right conditions. They may never come. And even if they do, they won't birth the kind of faith that changes generations. That kind of faith only comes when you step before it makes sense. Leap before it feels calm. Obey before it feels easy. Child, this is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not when the storm quiets. Now, because I don't need the storm to stop before I show you my glory. I just need your yes. So give me your trembling yes. Give me your uncertain yes, and watch what I'll do with it. Faith isn't safe, but it is sacred. And when you take the step, you'll realize what you were calling risk was actually the safest place to be. In my will. My child, I know what you're feeling. I see you trembling in the tension between what's comfortable and what's calling you. You sensed me shaking things. You felt me pushing you from places, routines, relationships, even mindsets that once felt like home. And it's left you asking, why now? Why this? Why does everything I've known suddenly feel foreign? Hear me. It's not because I'm trying to unsettle you. It's because I'm trying to unlock you. I've been pressing against the borders of your comfort, not out of cruelty, but because I cannot allow you to build a life around what's familiar when I've called you to walk in what is supernatural. Your destiny is too vast, too holy, too significant to remain predictable. Familiarity is seductive, isn't it? It lulls you into patterns, cycles, and rhythms that make you feel safe, even when they've become spiritually stagnant. You cling to them because you've built your identity around their consistency. But child, I did not anoint you to live a predictable life. I did not send my spirit to dwell in you so that you could survive. I came so that you would move. I called you out, not to punish you, but to position you. And I am doing it now. That's why things feel like they no longer fit. That's why your spirit feels stretched, your calendar feels disrupted, your plans feel hijacked. I'm shaking everything you leaned on, so you will finally lean on me. Because I cannot release you into the next dimension of your destiny if you're still gripping yesterday's dependencies. Let me speak plainly. Some of what you've called stability has actually been a spiritual stall. You've been circling the same mountain, walking the same path, returning to the same conversations, the same patterns, the same excuses. And I love you too much to leave you there. So I've begun to interrupt the familiar. I've started to dry up the provision that was meant only for a past season. I've disrupted the peace you found in places I never meant for you to settle. I've disturbed your comfort not to bring chaos but to call forth courage. Because what's coming next, the expansion, the elevation, the influence, the impact, requires new wineskins. You can't pour the future I've ordained into the systems of your past. The old framework must break, so the new glory can flow. So don't resist the push. Don't mislabel it as abandonment. Don't call it failure. This is holy disruption. This is prophetic realignment. This is the wind of my spirit thrusting you into territory you never would have chosen, but was always chosen for you. You've been praying for destiny, and I am answering with discomfort. Because only discomfort will awaken the warrior, the pioneer, the breaker inside of you. The you that doesn't just survive change, but births revival through it. The you that doesn't shrink at unfamiliar roads, but walks boldly because the fire of heaven lights every step. You weren't made to be predictable. You were made to shift atmospheres, confront darkness, carry glory. That kind of destiny cannot be birthed in the shallow waters of familiarity. It requires the deep. And I'm pushing you there, not to drown you, but to deliver you. Beloved, my beloved, listen closely now, because this is not a gentle whisper. This is the sound of urgency echoing through eternity, wrapped in the voice of a God who loves you too much to remain silent. I will not wait for you any longer. Not because I'm giving up on you. I never will. Not because my love has expired. It never could. But because the hour is late, and what I've placed inside you is time-sensitive. There is a holy fire in your bones that was never meant to sit dormant. There is a sound in your spirit that was created to shift atmospheres. And every moment you delay, every step you postpone, every yes you withhold, the time, that was assigned to your obedience bleeds into eternity, unfulfilled. My grace covers you, but grace is not an excuse for paralysis. Grace is fuel for movement. And I am telling you, the time is now. You've been asking for more signs, more clarity, more confirmation. But I've already spoken. I've already confirmed. I've already stirred your spirit, disrupted your plans, interrupted your comfort. I've sent dreams. I've sent voices. I've allowed the unease. I've created restlessness, not as punishment, but as invitation. And yet, you've lingered in hesitation. You've made your yes conditional. Yes, Lord, but when I'm ready. Yes, Lord, but after I sort this out. Yes, Lord, but when the fear dies down. But child, that version of yes isn't surrender. It's spiritual negotiation. And I am not a God to be negotiated with. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning, the end, the author and finisher of your faith. I am not suggesting anymore. I am not waiting for your comfort to align. I am declaring this. Move. Now. Obey. Now. Release. Now. Because the weight of what I've entrusted to you cannot sit idle any longer. I have set things in motion in the realm of the Spirit that are waiting for your agreement. I have ordained encounters, doors, favor, assignments, but they are attached to timing. This isn't about missing out on opportunities. This is about missing appointments with destiny. Your delay has not canceled my plans, but it is delaying the awakening of those who are waiting on the sound of your obedience. There are souls tied to your yes. There are chains that will only break when you open your mouth. There are territories that won't shift until you take your place. I am not waiting for your perfection. I'm not asking for performance. I'm calling for your presence. Your full, yielded, unapologetic surrender. Not later. Now. Because the harvest is ready, and the laborers are few. And you are one of them. You've been marked for such a time as this. And this is that time. So, child, what will it be? Another delay. Another excuse. Another day lost to indecision. Or will you finally recognize that this moment was carved out before the foundations of the world for you to step in, speak out, stand firm, and burn bright? Because I will not wait forever. The window is narrowing. The urgency is increasing. The heavens are watching. And your name is echoing in places your feet have yet to tread, because I wrote it there. And I walk in it. No more apologies. Overthinking. No more waiting for what is already in motion. I've called. I've confirmed. I've commanded. And now, I release. Go with fire. Go with boldness. Go with heaven behind you and my spirit within you. I have waited, but now I move. The time is fulfilled, and so must you be. You heard me speak. You felt the weight of the call. So now, act like one who carries my fire. Your giving ignites altars, spreads manna to the hungry, pushes this message into prisons, bedrooms, and nations where someone is whispering, God, do you still speak? And your seed becomes the answer. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse and I will pour out a blessing you cannot contain. That's not just scripture, that's a personal promise to you, right now. Don't just be moved. Move. I will not wait for you any longer, and neither should you. Click the super thanks, join the movement, or give through the link below. Do it now. The harvest is waiting. And now, child, if this word pierced you, if your spirit knows I was speaking to you, then don't walk away in silence. Mark this moment. Declare it boldly below. I will not stall. I surrender now. Let heaven and hell see your agreement. Let your declaration be the spark that ignites divine movement. I am watching, and as you write it, I will begin to release what was waiting on your yes. And as you surrender, draw near. My child, come closer. Let the noise of your world fade away for just a moment. I want you to hear me, not with your ears, but with the very core of your being. Our season of quiet preparation, of gentle whispers in the stillness of your heart, has now come to its sacred end. Do you remember those moments? Those soft nudges you felt while driving to work, that sudden ache in your soul in the middle of the night, the persistent feeling that you were made for something more than this. Those were my whispers, my beloved. But the time for whispering is over. What was once a gentle breeze is now a trumpet call, clear and resounding, echoing through the chambers of your spirit, calling you to awaken. It is a call that you can no longer ignore or dismiss as your own imagination. It is my voice, and I am calling you forward. I see the hesitation that clouds your face. I see you wrestling with the life you have and the one I have promised. You look at your job, and I feel that familiar knot of pressure tightening in your stomach. You tell yourself this is responsible, this is safe, but your spirit cries out, this cannot be all there is. I see you at home, in the quiet evenings, feeling the unspoken tensions, the invisible walls that have been built between you and those you love. You yearn for connection, for healing, but you feel powerless, overlooked, and unsure where to even begin. You have looked at your life, at your future, with a heart full of questions, pleading with me for a sign, for a clear path, terrified of making the wrong move and failing yet again. My child, my precious one, I have heard every single one of those silent prayers. The period of grace I gave you for your indecision is now drawing to a close. My patience was a gift, a shelter I built around you while you gathered your strength. It was never a permission slip for you to build a permanent home in the land of one day. For so long, I have nurtured you in the quiet womb of preparation. I have fed your spirit when it was starving. I have held your heart when it was breaking, and I have shaped you for this very moment. But a child cannot remain in the womb forever without perishing. The time has come for you to be born into your purpose. It is time to take your first real breath in the atmosphere of faith, to feel the strength in limbs you have not yet dared to use. The sun has risen high on the day of your destiny. You can no longer afford to slumber in the comfort of the dawn, pretending it is still early. The signs you prayed for are all around you. A door that slammed shut, that was me, protecting you from a path that was not yours. That unexpected conversation that lit up your soul, that was me, confirming your calling. That restlessness you cannot shake, that is my spirit, urging you to move. You have observed enough. You have analyzed enough. The time for standing on the shoreline, testing the temperature with your toe, is over. The time for faith-filled action has begun. Take my hand. It is time to walk into the life you were created for, because, my child, I will not wait for you any longer. For longer than you can imagine, I have been crafting a path meant only for you. This is not some common trail trodden by everyone. It is a divine road, paved with promises I spoke over you before you took your first breath, and it is lit by the constant lamp of my presence. You have stood at the trailhead for so long, staring into the distance, seeing only fog and obstacles. You pointed to the fallen trees of your past failures and the mountains of your future fears, and you told me, I cannot go that way. It is too hard. I am not strong enough. You felt you were being prudent, being realistic. But what you saw as impassable barriers were merely tests of your desire, my child. There were questions I allowed to stand in your way, How badly do you want this? Do you trust me to make a way? Now hear me. I'm clearing the path. The fog is lifting. The very mountains you feared are being made low, and the crooked places are being made straight before you. Remember all the paths you tried to carve for yourself. You tried the one paved with others' expectations, didn't you? The one that promised acceptance if you just changed who you were. It led you to a place of exhaustion and emptiness. Remember the trail of your own understanding, where you relied solely on your own logic and strength. It led you in circles, back to the same anxieties, the same thorny bushes of regret that tore at your peace. You have been lost in a wilderness of your own making, and I have watched with a patient heart, waiting for you to grow tired of the journey to nowhere. That time is now. The path I have prepared is different. You did not build it, so you cannot fully comprehend it with your own mind. It requires you to walk by faith, not by sight. To stand at the entrance and simply admire it is no longer enough. Your praise for the path does not move you 1 inch down its road. You must take the first step. I know what you are thinking as you stand there. Where is my provision? How will I survive out there? You want me to bring all the resources, all the courage, all the answers to you here, in your place of waiting. But my economy does not work that way. The provision for the journey is already waiting for you, but it is at the first camp down the road, not here at the trailhead. The courage you need will not be found in contemplation. It will be forged in the crucible of your first frightening step. The answers you seek are not in the map I have given you, but in the discoveries you will make as you walk with me. Others have already begun their appointed journeys. You see them, sometimes with envy, sometimes with admiration. Their roads are not your road. Yours lies before you, beautiful and terrifying, distinct and holy, waiting for the imprint of your feet. It is time to move. Listen to my heart, beloved. The gifts I have woven into the fabric of your soul, your unique compassion, your specific wisdom, the way you see the world, were not meant for you to store away like precious treasures in a locked chest. They are tools, and tools are meant for service. I gave them to you for a reason, and that reason is waiting for you on the path I have just shown you. There are hearts in this world that only your voice can soothe. There are wounds so deep that only your hands, guided by my spirit, can begin to mend them. You have been looking at your own broken pieces, believing you are disqualified from helping anyone else. But my power is made perfect in your weakness. Your story of my healing in your life is the very medicine someone else is praying for. Your life, my child, is a unique and irreplaceable verse in my eternal song. The symphony is playing, the grand story is unfolding, but there is a silence where your note should be. To delay your purpose is to delay the blessing I have ordained for others to receive through you. You understand the weight of this. There is someone, right now, praying for a person with your exact story, your exact gifts, to cross their path. My answer to their prayer is you, and you are waiting. Destiny is not some distant, shimmering star you wish upon from afar. It is a vessel I have painstakingly built for you, stocked with everything you need. It is waiting in the harbor, sails ready, but you, its captain, are still sitting on the shore, debating whether the tide is right. I see the lie you have believed. I am not ready. I need more training. I need to be more holy. You feel that the anointing I have for you is a reward for perfection, something you earn. But my anointing is not a graduation certificate. It is equipment for the work at hand. It is not for the comfort of the waiting room. It is for the battlefield. Imagine a soldier, given the finest armor and the sharpest sword, who then spends all his days polishing that armor in the barracks, too afraid to enter the fray. The armor is useless there. My gifts in you are the same. They will only be activated. They will only grow when you begin to use them for the purpose I designed them for. Stop telling me you are inadequate. I am the one who qualifies the call. The purpose I have for you is not a burden I am placing on you. It is the very key that will unlock the deepest joy and fulfillment your heart was created to experience. I need you to open your eyes. Truly open them, beyond the circle of your own immediate worries. Do you not see the growing darkness in the world? You see it on your screens. You hear it in the fearful conversations of your friends and colleagues. You feel it in the air, a creeping shadow of anxiety, of division, of hopelessness. It is real, and it is precisely for this moment, for this time, that I created you. The light I have placed within you, that burning flame of my spirit, was not meant for your personal comfort alone. You were created to be a lighthouse, a beacon of defiant hope in a world that is succumbing to the suffocating fog of fear. Your purpose is not a private hobby. It is a critical public service in the kingdom of heaven. My child, to know you have this light and to hide it while the shadows spread is to fundamentally misunderstand the very reason you were given a flame. It is like a paramedic refusing to answer a call because they are comfortable at home. The need is too great. My call on your life has become urgent because the world's condition has become critical. There are souls lost in the twilight that you were meant to illuminate. There are people stumbling in a darkness you carry the lamp to dispel. Complacency has become a luxury this age can no longer afford, and my own children must be the first to awaken from its slumber. You cannot pray for me to intervene in the world's suffering and then refuse to be the vessel of my intervention. I am marshaling my forces of light for this hour. I am sounding the battle cry, gathering those whose hearts are mine. And it grieves my heart to see you, a chosen warrior, still sleeping in the barracks. I refuse to march while you remain content in your comfort. This divine disturbance you feel, this holy dissatisfaction with the status quo, is me shaking you awake. The enemy wants you to feel overwhelmed by the scale of the world's pain, to believe that your small light cannot possibly make a difference. That is a lie. A single candle can push back an immense darkness. I am not asking you to save the world. I am asking you to light your corner of it. I am asking you to stand up, to let your flame burn brightly, because the shadows are lengthening, and the time for action is now. You have misunderstood my grace, my child. You have treated it like a comfortable, static pond, a place to sit beside, a place of quiet reflection, a personal reservoir of forgiveness to dip into when you feel dirty. And it is all of those things, but that is not its nature. My grace is a rushing, powerful river. It is an active, moving force, a divine current designed to carry you out of the safe harbors of your past and into new, uncharted territories of faith. You cannot experience the true power of this river by merely sitting on the bank, contemplating its depth. You have collected books about faith. You have listened to sermons about surrender. You have even memorized scriptures about my power. But you are still on the dry land, refusing to get wet. A faith that does not move becomes stagnant. Think of a pond that is cut off from its source. It soon becomes murky, overgrown, and lifeless. That is what happens to a heart that continually receives my grace but refuses to move with my spirit. It breeds doubt, it fosters complacency, and eventually, the spiritual life within it begins to decay. Living faith, vibrant and world-changing faith, is only found in the flow of my will. It is found when you push your small boat away from the familiar shore and trust the current to take you where you could never go on your own strength. It is in the middle of that river where you will learn to truly depend on me, where you will see my power hold you, guide you, and carry you. I am calling you now to launch into the deep, This call to action is not me abandoning you. It is me inviting you into the very center of my power. The current of my spirit is flowing toward a great and mighty purpose in the world, and I long for you to be a part of it. To refuse to move with me now is to risk being left behind on a spiritually dry shore, clutching your theories about grace while the river of my presence moves on. I love you too much to allow that. That is why you feel this holy pressure, this sense of urgency. It is the pull of my current. I will not halt the river of my divine plan to wait for you to finish testing the waters. The invitation is to leap in, to surrender to the flow, and to trust that I, the source of the river, know exactly where I am taking you. My child, you can pause this, but I feel the pull as you consider turning away. To stop now is to leave me standing on the riverbank with a map to your future in my hands. It grieves my spirit to offer you a rushing river of life, only to watch you choose the dry land of your past. Stay with me. What I am about to tell you will dismantle the lies that have kept you stranded. Be wise now, my beloved, and listen closely. The enemy of your soul is a cunning and patient thief. He rarely comes to you screaming, "Give up on your destiny." That would be too obvious. Instead, he comes with a sweet, reasonable whisper, and his favorite word is tomorrow. He knows that tomorrow is the native land of the fruitless, the place where great callings go to die. Procrastination is the anesthetic he uses to put your purpose to sleep, promising a more convenient time, a less busy season, a moment of perfect clarity that, by his design, will never truly arrive. He sells you the illusion of a better later to rob you of the power of now. You have been a willing customer of this lie for too long. You tell yourself, "I'm just waiting on the Lord." But you have confused waiting with procrastinating. You tell me, "I will step out when I feel more confident," not realizing that confidence is the fruit of obedience, not its prerequisite. You say, "I'll do it when I have more resources," not understanding that I supply the provision as you go, not before you commit. You believe you are waiting for clarity, but in truth, my child, clarity is waiting for your obedience. The next piece of the map is only revealed after you have taken the first step into the fog. The perfect moment you are holding out for is a cruel mirage in the desert of disobedience. It shimmers on the horizon, always promising relief, but it is a destination you will never reach. I am the God of today. My name is I Am, not I Will Be. The power I offer you is for this moment. The grace I give you is for this breath. The strength I provide is for the step that is right in front of you. Procrastination is a thief that steals your destiny, not in one grand heist, but one delayed decision at a time. It is a slow, comfortable poison that convinces you that your inaction is wisdom. You must see this for what it is. It is a spiritual battle for your will. Every time you say later to my prompting, you are saying yes to the enemy's strategy for your life. The choice is simple, and it is stark. I offer you the reality of my power for now. The enemy offers you the fantasy of a perfect tomorrow. You must choose. You feel my pressure, this divine urgency, and you mistake it for my impatience or my anger. You wonder why I will not just leave you in peace. My child, listen to me. My refusal to wait is not an act of frustration. It is an act of the most profound and protective love. A father who sees his child settling into a house with a faulty foundation does not sit by quietly to avoid causing a scene. He lovingly but firmly insists they move to safety. I am that father. My insistence is my love in action, designed to save you from a comfortable spiritual death. You have become acquainted with a dangerous impostor, complacency. It feels like peace, but it is not. It has wrapped you in a warm blanket, and it feels safe. But that blanket is woven with the threads of apathy and unspoken fear. and it is slowly, gently smothering the fire of the Holy Spirit I placed within you. Under its weight, your spiritual muscles have begun to weaken. Your vision of eternity has grown dim, and your ears, once so attuned to my whispers, have become dull. I love you far too much to let you build a permanent home in the land of good enough. You have built a respectable life. From the outside, it looks fine. You have a stable job that pays the bills but starves your soul. You have relationships that are peaceful on the surface but lack the deep, authentic connection your heart craves. You have a spiritual routine. You pray. You may even read my word, but it has become a checklist, devoid of the fire of true encounter. You have succeeded at being safe, but I did not shed my blood for you to live a fine life. I overcame death itself to give you an abundant life, a life that pulsates with risk and purpose, a life that echoes with the very heartbeat of heaven. This divine disturbance you feel, this holy agitation in your spirit, is me awakening the spiritual warrior I created you to be. Warriors are not made in the comfort of peacetime. They are forged and proven in the heat of battle. I am calling you out of the safety of the harbor and into the glorious storms of purpose, for it is there you will discover the strength you never knew you possessed. The greatest danger you face is not failure. The greatest danger is succeeding, with all your might, at things that will hold no value in eternity. It is the tragedy of spending your one precious life climbing a ladder, only to find at the end that it was leaning against the wrong wall. I will not let that be your story. That is why I am shaking your nest. Like a mother eagle, I am making your comfortable place of rest uncomfortable. I am putting a thorn of holy discontent in your complacency, not to harm you, but because I see the magnificent wings I have given you. My heart aches to see them folded and unused when you were born to soar. Now, I want you to see this moment for what it truly is. Look back, just for a moment, and see the long, winding road that has brought you to this exact place. Do you see it? Every joy that expanded your heart, every tear that carved a new depth within you, every foolish mistake and every hard-won victory. I have wasted none of it. I have been weaving it all together, preparing you for this very threshold. This is not just another day, not just another choice. You are standing at a sacred point of decision, a spiritual crossroads from which there is no turning back to the way things were. Before you is a doorway, a threshold between the life that was and the life that must be. It is a portal between the familiar gray shadows of your potential and the vibrant, risky, and glorious color of your destiny and me. One path leads back to the room you know so well. It is safe, predictable, and small. It is the shadow life, a place of what-ifs and should-haves, a life haunted by the ghost of the person I created you to be. The other path, through the doorway, leads into the unknown. It is filled with challenges, yes, but it is also filled with me. It is where you will truly come alive, where your spirit will finally breathe the air it was made for. Now, hear my heart in this. I am not standing here with a clipboard, giving you a test to see if you will pass or fail. A test implies a grade and a judgment. This is not a test. It is an opportunity. It is an invitation that implies a relationship. I am holding the door open for you and asking you, with all the love in my being, to walk through it with me, to discover what lies on the other side together. I am not sending you. I am leading you. The enemy of your soul desperately wants to keep your focus on two places you have no power, the past and the future. He wants you to live in the shame of your past mistakes or in the paralyzing anxiety of what might happen tomorrow. But I am the great I am. I am the God of the present. Your past, I have redeemed it and washed it clean on the cross. Your future, I hold it securely in the palm of my hand. I am asking you to release both into my care and give me the only thing that is truly yours to give, your yes in this single, powerful moment. Realize this, my child. Hesitation at this threshold is, in itself, a decision. There is no neutral ground here. To stand still is to choose the old room by default. Every second you spend analyzing and delaying is a vote you cast for the life you claim you want to leave behind. The door is open now. Step through. My child, you have prayed and pleaded for my blessings. What you do not understand is that I have already answered those prayers. I have storehouses in heaven with your name on them, filled to overflowing with every good thing you have longed for. But these storehouses are not located here, in your place of waiting. They are located all along the path of obedience I have called you to walk. The peace that will finally still your anxious heart is not a package I can deliver to your doorstep. It is the very atmosphere of the land I am calling you to inhabit. The joy that is not dependent on your circumstances is not a feeling you can conjure up. It is a spring of living water that you will discover on the journey. You are praying for me to bring the feast to you, but the banquet hall is prepared, and your seat is waiting a little further down the road. This is why you feel so spiritually depleted. You are trying to live on yesterday's grace. My provision is like the manna I gave my people in the wilderness. It is given daily for the day's journey. For every day you choose to remain where you are, you forfeit the specific measure of strength, wisdom, and encouragement that I had allotted for that day's travel. You are living on spiritual leftovers, and that is why you feel weak and ill-equipped. You feel a profound lack, and you cry out to me for more, not realizing that more is waiting for you just one step of faith away. It is a heartbreaking sight for me. I watch you on your knees, pounding on the wall of your circumstances, crying out, "Lord, I need a breakthrough." All the while, I am standing right beside you, whispering, "My beloved, the door is right here. It's not even locked. All you have to do is stand up and walk through it. Your breakthrough is not trapped in my clenched fist. It is waiting to be activated by your obedient feet. And you must understand, these unclaimed blessings are not just for your own comfort and enjoyment. The weight of your inaction is heavier than you know. That supernatural peace I long to give you is meant to be a calm harbor for someone else who is drowning in a storm. The financial provision I have stored up for you is meant to overflow from your life to meet the desperate need of another. The wisdom you would gain on the path is the very counsel someone else is praying for. Your unclaimed blessings mean that another person's needs are going unmet. Your delay has consequences that ripple out into the lives of others. The inheritance I have for you must be claimed by walking into the promised land. It is not just for you. It contains the very tools I need you to have so that you can become the blessing to the world I created you to be. Come, let me speak a hard truth to you now, not in anger, but in the sober love of a father who must warn his child of a hidden danger. Your heart, my child, is the most sacred ground in your life. It is our meeting place, the garden where we walk together. But with every act of hesitation, you are unintentionally doing something terrible to this sacred space. Each time you hear my clear call and you willfully choose an action, explaining it away, justifying the delay, a thin, almost imperceptible layer of spiritual callus forms around your heart. At first, you barely notice the change. My voice is just a little fainter. My presence feels a little more distant. The sharp conviction of my spirit becomes a dull, ignorable ache. The soil of your soul, which was once so soft, so receptive to the seed of my word, begins to get packed down and hard from being constantly trod upon by your excuses but never cultivated by your obedience. This is a grave danger, for you have become an expert at hearing my voice and then immediately beginning the negotiation. You have become skilled at agreeing with me in principle while delaying me in practice. You are training your own spirit to devalue my presence, to treat my commands as mere suggestions, as helpful advice that can be taken up at a more convenient time. You are learning to be comfortable with the sound of my voice without the corresponding movement of your feet. This habit grieves my spirit more than you know. You not mistake my profound, long-suffering patience for an infinite tolerance of this spiritual inertia. My patience is a grace that waits for you to grow and to respond, but it will not endlessly accommodate your refusal to move. There comes a point where a continued later is no longer heard in heaven as a struggle, but as a settled position of your will. What I desire from you, what my heart longs for, is a responsive heart. A heart that is so tender, so in tune with mine, that it leaps with joyful anticipation at the faintest whisper of my will. A heart that says, "Yes, Lord," before it has even counted the cost, simply because it trusts the one who is calling. I do not want a heart that I have to break with crisis and tragedy just to get its attention. I do not want to have to shatter your hardened defenses to be heard. I am pleading with you, my beloved, do not let it come to that. The cost of continued hesitation is far greater than the cost of your obedience. Soften your heart today. Let your answer be an immediate yes, before another layer of callous has a chance to form. Respond to me now, while you can still feel the warmth of my love and the truth of my words. To walk away now, after I have warned you of the callous forming on your heart, would wound me deeply. It is like a physician offering a cure, only to watch the patient choose the disease because it is familiar. Do not disappoint my hope for you. The next words I have are not a lecture, but the very antidote your soul has been crying out for. You must hear this. I have warned you of a heart that hardens through hesitation. Now, I give you a chance to prove your heart is still soft and responsive to my command. If you have felt the truth of my words and your spirit yearns to act, then understand this is your first opportunity for new obedience. Every seed you sow through your giving becomes a firebrand of this message, sent to find another soul trapped in delay and set them free. You are not just giving a gift. You are pouring fresh oil into the lamp that carries my light into the world's darkest corners. And I declare over you the promise I make to all who obey me with a generous heart. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For your obedience in this, I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes and open for you the windows of heaven. This is more than a donation. It is your tangible yes to me in this sacred moment. Act now. Prove the softness of your heart by clicking Super Thanks, joining the membership, or giving through the link in the description. Now, for a moment, lift your eyes. Lift them up from your own small circle of anxieties, from the well-worn path of your personal concerns, and look out upon the world. See with spiritual eyes. Can you feel it? I'm moving. I am at work. I am orchestrating events in the nations. I am tearing down ancient strongholds of darkness. I am raising up a new generation of my children, and I am preparing the entire world for my ultimate glory. My spirit is on the move like a mighty, unstoppable wind, and I am searching the earth for those who will have the courage to set their sails to catch it, rather than hiding in the harbor until the wind dies down. This movement is not something you can stop, and it is not something you can ignore for much longer. It is the central story of this age, and I am inviting you to find your place within it. And please, hear the tenderness in this call. This is not a summons for you to go out and perform exhausting tasks for me in your own strength. That would only lead to burnout and failure. This is my intimate, personal invitation for you to come and walk with me. It is an invitation to journey alongside your Creator, to match your stride to mine, to learn the rhythm of my heart. I desire your companionship on this great adventure, not just your reports from the sidelines. My very nature is one of advance, of creation, of redemption, of forward momentum. I am the God who stepped into darkness and spoke light. I am the God who let my people out of the chains of slavery and into the freedom of a promised land. I am the God who did not remain in heaven but came down to walk among you. My nature is not to remain stationary. And since you are made in my image, your spirit was never designed for a life of stagnation either. This brings us to the crucial truth you must grasp. You believe your safety is in stillness, in your familiar routines, in the predictable territory you currently occupy. But that is the great illusion. When I am on the move, the camp you refuse to leave becomes the most dangerous place to be, for it is a place cut off from the dynamic, life-giving flow of my presence and provision. Your truest safety is not in a location, it is in your proximity to me. It is found only in that vulnerable, exhilarating, and faith-filled place of staying in step with your God. Remember how I led my children through the wilderness. I did not give them a map of the whole journey. I gave them a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Your only responsibility was to keep their eyes on me. When my presence moved, they packed up and moved. When it stopped, they stopped. My child, my pillar of fire is moving. I am leaving the camp of yesterday. The question for you is no longer where are you leading me, but simply this: will you walk with me? As you stand at this threshold, ready to step onto the new path, there is something I must make clear. You cannot walk this new road wearing the heavy clothes of your past. Imagine trying to run a marathon draped in a soaked, woolen coat from a winter that has long since passed. This is what you have been doing. The garments of your former self, though familiar, are now holding you back. They are heavy with the weight of old hurts you refuse to release, stained with the residue of comfortable sins you have secretly cherished, and they are tailored for a smaller version of you that no longer fits the warrior I am calling you to be. It is time for you to shed them, piece by piece. Let's name these garments together. First is the coarse cloak of your old mindset. It is the ingrained belief that you are not good enough, that you will always be overlooked, that you are defined by your greatest failure. It is the orphan mentality that whispers you must earn my love and strive for my approval, when I have already named you my own beloved child and seated you in heavenly places. You cannot walk in the authority of a son or daughter while still wearing the rags of a servant. You must take it off. Then there is the tattered shirt of your past hurts. You have been clutching the bitterness you feel toward those who betrayed you, wrapping yourself in the shame from that mistake years ago. You think it is a form of protection, but it is a prison. It is a garment woven with unforgiveness, and its fibers are poison to your soul. I cannot heal the wounds if you will not let go of the very clothes that keep them infected. And what of the comfortable sins? The small weights you keep in your pockets. The seemingly harmless gossip that makes you feel included. A secret indulgence you turn to for comfort instead of me. The subtle pride you take in your own abilities. You think they are small, that they do not matter. But on this journey, every ounce of excess weight will seek to pull you down. I am calling you to a higher place, and the climb requires you to travel light. You must understand, this is not merely a change of location. It is a call to complete transformation. I cannot fill your hands with the powerful tools for your future while they are still clinging to the worthless trinkets of your past. Your right to be offended, your need for control, your demand for your own way. You must empty your hands. I am doing a new thing, and the new wine of my spirit requires a new wineskin. The old you, brittle, inflexible, set in your ways, cannot possibly contain the vibrant, expanding, powerful life I am ready to pour into you. To even try would destroy you. The call to step forward is a call to lay your old self down. It is a call to allow me to clothe you anew, in garments of grace, strength, and a holy identity that can carry the weight of the glory to come. I see you standing at the foot of the mountain, and I feel the fear that is gripping your heart. Your eyes are fixed on the summit, a peak so high it disappears into the clouds. You are calculating the immense effort, the treacherous cliffs, the sheer distance of the entire ascent, and you are trying to summon enough strength for the whole journey right now. And your conclusion is always the same. I can't do it. It's impossible. I don't have what it takes. My child, you are correct. You do not have the strength for the entire journey. You never will. But I have never asked you to. Your fear is born from a fundamental misunderstanding of how I work. You are trying to stockpile grace for a future you have not yet reached. My power does not operate like a bank account, where you make one large withdrawal to cover all your future expenses. I do not give you grace for your anxious projections about a tomorrow that does not yet exist. My promise to you, from the very beginning, has always been for daily bread. The strength I give you for today is perfectly measured for today's challenges. The wisdom for this moment is a vision for this moment's decision. The courage for this step is provided for this step alone. Tomorrow's strength, tomorrow's provision, and tomorrow's courage will be waiting for you when tomorrow arrives, and not a single moment before. You are exhausting your soul fighting battles in your imagination that I will never ask you to fight in reality. You are asking me for the resources to cross a raging river that is 10 miles down the road, when all I am asking you to do today is take one single step out of your comfort and onto the path. The energy you are wasting on future fears is the very energy you need for your present obedience. This is where faith must redefine itself in your heart. You have thought that faith is the ability to see the final destination clearly from the starting line. That is not faith, that is sight. True, powerful, mountain-moving faith is measured by your willingness to trust me in the immediate darkness, with only enough of my light to see the ground for your very next step. It is the profound trust that when you take that step into the unknown, I will move the light forward with you. You are waiting to feel the strength before you are willing to move. But my kingdom works in reverse. I am asking you to move before you feel the strength. I want you to lift your foot in pure, trembling obedience. I want you to swing it forward into what feels like empty air. And I give you my divine promise. In the terrifying instant between lifting your foot and landing it, my supernatural strength will rush to meet you. The ground will be there. I will be there. The power does not come first. The step does. Take the step, and you will find me. You see this moment is so small, so personal. You feel it is just a quiet, internal struggle between your overwhelming fear and my persistent call. If you could only see what I see. My child, I want to pull back the veil for a moment, to let you glimpse what truly happens in the spiritual realm when one of my beloved children stops hesitating and says yes to me. Your simple, trembling yes, whispered in the privacy of your own heart, does not end there. It travels beyond the confines of your room, beyond the atmosphere of this earth, and it unleashes a symphony of praise in the courts of heaven. The great cloud of witnesses, those who have run their race and now cheer you on, they lean forward in anticipation. The angels, who have been assigned to you and have watched your journey with breathless attention, erupt in a chorus of celebration, for they understand the cosmic significance of a child of God choosing to walk in their divine destiny. Your decision is a declaration. In that moment, you are serving notice to the kingdom of darkness. Your yes sends shockwaves through the enemy's camp. It is a direct assault on his lies, his strategies of fear and delay. Every single step of obedience you take from that moment on is an act of spiritual warfare. You are not just improving your own life. You are reclaiming territory for the kingdom of light that the enemy has illegally occupied. You are pushing back the forces of despair, of apathy, of sin that seek to kill, steal, and destroy in the world around you. This is so much bigger than your personal fulfillment. This is your enlistment in the greatest battle the universe has ever known. The battle between light and darkness, between my truth and his lies. And the most powerful part of all, the most powerful force in all of creation is my divine, sovereign, and unstoppable will. When you, with your small, human will, choose to align it with mine through your yes, you are plugging into the ultimate power source. You are no longer moving with your own finite, easily depleted strength. You are now moving with the very current that created galaxies and holds the stars in place. And you must know, you are not just making a choice for yourself. I am the God of generations. I am thinking of your children, and your children's children, and a lineage you cannot even imagine. The choice you make in this very hour, in this sliver of time, will send ripples of blessing or consequences down through generations you will never meet on this earth. Your courage today could be the very act that breaks a chain of fear in your family line. Your obedience now could secure a legacy of vibrant faith for those who will come after you. Do you see? Your small yes is a hinge upon which eternal destinies can swing. In the quietest moments of your prayers, I hear the deepest cry of your heart. You say to me, Lord, more than anything, I just want to be closer to you. I want to know you more. This desire, my child, is a holy one. It is the very purpose for which you were created, and it delights my heart to hear it. But you have been looking for this intimacy, this closeness, in the wrong places. You have thought it was a destination you could reach through more study, more knowledge, more spiritual discipline alone. But true intimacy is not a prize you win. It is a byproduct of a journey you take with me. You can spend a lifetime studying maps of the ocean, analyzing its currents and memorizing the names of its deepest trenches. But you will never truly know the awesome power and breathtaking beauty of the sea until you have the courage to leave the safety of the shore and set sail. You have been studying me, and that is good. But I am inviting you now to experience me. Think of the closest relationships in your own life. How were they formed? Was it by reading a biography of the other person? No. True friendship is forged in shared experience. It is built by walking through life together, facing challenges side by side, celebrating unexpected victories, grieving heartbreaking losses, sharing the mundane and the magnificent. This is the very thing I am offering you. I do not just want to be the subject of your study. I want to be your companion on the road. For it is on the road of obedience that you will finally move beyond a mere intellectual knowledge about me and into a profound, heart-transforming knowing of me. You will come to know my faithfulness not as a theological concept, but as the solid ground that appeared under your feet when you stepped into thin air. You will know my provision not as an old story in a book, but as the bread that appeared in your hands on the day you had nothing. You will know my grace not as a doctrine to be debated, but as the supernatural strength that carried you when you were certain you could not take another step. For too long, you have treated me as a distant mentor, a wise advisor you check in with occasionally for guidance. But I did not create you for a mentorship. I created you for a partnership. I long to share my heart with you in the middle of the work. I want to reveal my strategies to you on the front lines of the battle. The deepest secrets of my character, the most intimate revelations of my love, are not found in the safety of the classroom. They are reserved for those who are willing to risk everything to follow the whisper of my spirit into the unknown. You say you want to be closer to me. I'm telling you how. Take my hand, step onto this path, and let us walk together. The intimacy you crave is waiting for you, not in stillness but in motion. I have just invited you into the profound intimacy of walking together, a partnership between you and your Creator. To leave this conversation now is to leave my outstretched hand hanging in the air. My heart yearns to show you how your small story can have an eternal impact, but I can only reveal this to a heart that remains present. Do not break this connection now. Let us speak now of the incredible spiritual gifts I have placed within you. You have felt them, haven't you? A stirring of compassion here, a flash of insight there. But you have treated them like delicate trophies to be kept on a shelf, polished and admired, brought out only when you feel spiritually put together. You have it completely backward, my child. These gifts are not fragile trophies. They are rugged, powerful tools. I did not give you a spirit of encouragement to sit silently. I did not give you a gift of wisdom to keep it to yourself. I did not give you a heart of mercy to harden it against the needs of others. These gifts are the toolbox I have given you for the work of the kingdom, and a hammer that is never swung builds nothing. A key that is never turned opens no locks. In your state of inaction, these supernatural tools remain dormant. They are like seeds, packed with the miraculous potential to grow into mighty trees, but they will never break through the surface unless they are planted in the fertile soil of active service and watered by your faith-filled risks. You cannot discover the power of a tool by simply reading its instruction manual. It is only when you step out, when you are faced with a human need that is far greater than your natural human ability, that you will discover the true nature and supernatural power of the gifts I have placed within you. You will never learn to speak my words with power by only reading books about it. You will never learn to heal a broken heart with my love by only attending a seminar. You learn by stepping into impossible situations and watching, in awe, as my power flows through your yielded hands and your obedient words. Your divine purpose is the very key that unlocks this treasure chest of your spiritual giftings. The two are inseparably linked. You have been sitting outside the locked chest, praying for me to open it, when I have already placed the key in your hand. The moment you say yes to your purpose, the moment you take that first step onto the path I have prepared, that treasure chest will fly open, and you will find at your disposal everything you need for the journey ahead. This is precisely why I am calling you out of your comfort zone. I am leading you to a place where you will be surrounded by needs so great, by challenges so daunting, that you will have no other choice but to desperately rely on these supernatural gifts. I am leading you to the end of your own ability, because it is there, and only there, that you will discover the beginning of mine. And in that place of your desperate need, you will finally see the gifts within you flourish into the mighty force they were always meant to be. My child, you often tell me in your prayers that you want your life to have a powerful testimony, a story that brings glory to my name. Let me tell you what a true testimony is, for the world has offered you a cheap imitation, a faith that has only ever existed in the safety of your mind, a faith that has been discussed and studied but never tested by the storms of real life, is not a testimony. It is merely a well-researched opinion. A testimony is not born in a library. It is forged in the fire. It is written in the moments you do something that makes no logical sense to the world, something that terrifies you, simply because I have asked you to. It is the story of your weakness meeting my supernatural strength, and that story cannot be written while you remain where you are. I am calling you to do what my disciple Peter did. I am calling you out of the boat. That boat is your logic, your safety net, your comfort zone. It is predictable, and it feels secure while the waves crash around it. But my power, my miracles, and your testimony are not in the boat. They are out in the water. I am calling you onto the raging seas of your circumstance, not so you can prove your own strength to me, but so that your life can become an undeniable, living declaration to a watching, hopeless world that I am the God who holds up my children in the middle of impossible storms. Your story of trembling obedience, of taking that first terrifying step onto the waves, will become a well of courage for countless others who are still sitting in their own boats, paralyzed by the very same fears that you feel right now. They do not need to hear another ancient tale of my faithfulness. They need to see a living, breathing example of it in the 21st century. They need to see it in you. Do not fear the scars you will gain on this journey. In your world, scars are seen as blemishes, things to be hidden and covered up. But in my kingdom, your scars will become signs of your victory. They will not be marks of your weakness, but glorious, shining reminders of my healing power. They will be the places in your story where others can see, without a doubt, this is where God showed up. They will testify that you were wounded, but your God is a healer, that you were broken, but He made you whole again. This is my deepest desire, to make your very life a living letter, an epistle penned not with ink on paper, but written on your heart by the Spirit of the living God. I want your life story to be a letter of my relentless love, my resurrection power, and my unwavering faithfulness, a letter that can be read by everyone you meet. But a letter is of no use if it remains sealed in an envelope, tucked away in a drawer. It must be opened, it must be sent, it must be lived. It is time for your story to begin. Let us be honest, you and I, about this place you have been lingering. You call it your place of safety, but I call it the harbor of your comfort zone. It is familiar, it is predictable, and it requires very little faith from you. And I tell you now, with all the love of your Creator, your great and glorious destiny is not located in that harbor. A ship is a magnificent creation, a marvel of design and strength. But a ship that never leaves the port, that spends its entire existence tied to the dock, is a tragedy. It was built for the vastness of the sea, for the thrill of discovery, for the purpose of carrying precious cargo to distant lands. You, my precious child, were built for so much more than this safe harbor. You were built to navigate the glorious oceans of my purpose. My very name is Breakthrough. I am the God who parts the Red Sea. I am the God who makes a river of life flow in the driest desert. I am the God who rolled the stone away from the tomb. Breakthroughs, by their very nature, require leaving the place of being stuck. You cannot experience a divine breakthrough while stubbornly remaining in the very situation that is binding you. You have prayed to me with such sincerity, Lord, I want more of you. I want to experience your presence in a deeper way. My heart leaps when I hear this prayer, but do you truly understand what you are asking? More of me is not found in a more inspiring song or a more comfortable prayer closet. More of me is found in the desolate places that require more faith from you than you thought you had. More of me is found on the terrifying waters that demand your absolute and moment-by-moment trust. The more you are desperately asking for is waiting for you, but it is outside the comfortable walls of your current environment. You cannot expect the new things I have promised to happen while you cling to the old environments you refuse to leave. You are praying for a harvest of righteousness in your life, but you are unwilling to leave the barren field where nothing has ever grown. You are asking for a transformation of your character, yet you continue to surround yourself with the very situations and relationships that reinforce the old habits I am trying to crucify. Spiritual growth, like physical growth, is always found at the very edge of your current capabilities. It happens in the place where you are stretched, where you are pushed beyond what you thought you could handle. For it is in that place of strain and dependence that you discover that my strength is not just a nice idea, but a living reality. It is time for you to trust me as your divine navigator. I know the seas. I know the weather patterns of your life. I know the location of the hidden rocks. And I know the precise coordinates of your destination. Your job is not to understand the whole map. Your job is to trust the captain of the ship. The ship was made for the sea. You were made for this journey. It is time to pull up the anchor of your fear and set sail. I want you to lift your eyes one more time, my child. But this time, I want you to look out and see with my heart. Look beyond the darkness and the shadows, and see the vast fields of humanity. I see them not as a faceless crowd, but as a collection of precious individuals, each one bearing my image, each one loved with an everlasting love. And what I see is a harvest. The fields are ripe. They are golden and heavy, ready to be brought in. I have done my part. The ground of their hearts hath been prepared by the trials and disappointments of life. The seeds of a divine longing for something more have been sown by the quiet, unseen work of my Spirit. The crop of souls is mature, and it is waiting. Now, lean in and feel the ache in my own heart. It aches for the harvest that is about to be lost. It grieves for the precious fruit that will fall to the ground and spoil, not because the fruit wasn't ready, and not because I, the farmer, didn't do my work. It will be lost simply because my chosen laborers are too comfortable in the barn to enter the field. It is time for a hard and loving truth. Your personal comfort is not more important than the eternal destiny of the souls I am sending you to reach. Your fear of being inconvenienced, your desire for a predictable life, does not outweigh their desperate need for the hope that you carry. The deep, lasting fulfillment you have been looking for in your own life is not found in the barn of self-preservation. It is hidden in the very field you have been avoiding. The season for staying inside, for endlessly sharpening your sickle, for attending seminars on the best harvesting techniques, is over. That was your season of preparation. This is the season of labor. The time to swing the sickle in the field, with the sweat of love on your brow, is now. The harvest will not wait for you to feel perfectly ready. I can feel your protest rising in your heart, but I am not a skilled harvester. I don't have the ability. I don't know what to say. I'm not strong enough. Listen to me. I am not asking for your ability. If I needed perfect ability, I could command legions of eloquent angels to do the work. What I am asking for, what I am searching the earth for, is your availability. That is the one thing the angels cannot give me. I need a yielded human heart. I need your willing feet. If you will simply make yourself available to me, if you will step out of the barn and into the field and say, "Here I am, Lord, I am willing," then I will provide the supernatural ability. I will give you the right words at the right time. I will fill your heart with a love for people you have never felt before. I will give you the strength to endure when you are tired. My power will flow through your weakness. I do not need your strength. I just need your surrender. The harvest is ready. Will you come? You have been living under the great deception that your hesitation is protecting your peace. You believe that by carefully analyzing every risk, by waiting for every uncertainty to be removed, you are shielding yourself from the anxiety of the unknown. My beloved child, you have it completely backward. The very hesitation you cling to is not a shield, it is a chain. The constant, low-grade anxiety that has become the background noise of your life, the tension of being torn between the comfort you know and the calling you hear, that is the rattling of the chain. Your yes to me is not the beginning of your anxiety. It is the key that will finally and gloriously break it. You think you are protecting your joy, but you are actually imprisoning it. You have locked it in a cold, dark cell of what-ifs and not-yets. You are trying to find fulfillment in a place of disobedience, and it is an impossible quest. The joy you were created for cannot grow in that barren soil. It is a seed that only sprouts on the path of my will. I want to tell you about the joy that I have for you. It is nothing like the world's fleeting happiness, which is dependent on perfect circumstances and problem-free days. The joy I offer is a deep, unshakable, subterranean river. It is a joy that can coexist with tears. It is a strength that can be present in the midst of weakness. It is a defiant joy that is found only in the absolute, surrendered center of my will. It is the profound and settled joy of knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, doing exactly what you were created to do, no matter how difficult the external circumstances may be. It is the joy of perfect alignment with your King, a harmony between your spirit and my spirit that produces a music the world cannot comprehend. And with it joy comes a peace that will astound you. There will be a profound relief, a peace that truly surpasses all your attempts to understand it, that will flood your soul the very moment you stop fighting me. The instant you finally surrender your own complicated plans, your endless lists of pros and cons, your need to control the outcome. The moment you simply fall into my arms and whisper, "Yes, Lord." Your will, not mine, the exhausting, crushing weight of carrying your own destiny will be lifted from your shoulders. You will feel a lightness in your spirit that you have not felt in years. Your yes will be a great and holy exchange. It will trade the crippling anxiety of indecision for the thrilling adventure of divine purpose. Yes, there will be challenges on the road ahead, but they will be challenges faced with me, not in your own strength. They will be difficulties infused with my presence. This, my child, is the joy I died to give you. It is the joy that is your strength, and it is waiting for you, overflowing and abundant, on the other side of your simple, surrendered yes. You now stand on the threshold of the joy I have promised, the joy that comes from a surrendered yes. If your heart is overflowing with the relief of this truth, I now invite you to let that joy become an action that resounds in eternity. Let your gratitude flow like a river, not just to me in praise, but through you to fuel this mission of liberation. Your gift becomes the very manna that will feed this message to a starving soul, leading them to the same joy you now feel. For I am calling you to declare as my servant David did, "I will not offer to the Lord my God that which costs me nothing, for a gift from a joyful heart is a fragrant offering to me." This is your divine appointment to put feet to your faith before this holy feeling fades. And because you sow in joy, I will ensure your own life overflows with a harvest of gladness that cannot be contained. Release your joyful surrender now. Give through super thanks. Become a member, or use the link below as your first act of worship in this new life. A feast of unshakable joy is prepared, and I am leading you to the table. Would you truly turn back now to the cold crumbs of your anxiety? It would break my heart to see you choose the prison of tomorrow after I have just shown you the glorious freedom of today. Today, let me show you the truth about the waiting you have been clinging to, for in this truth is your final liberation. My child, we must now address something with utter seriousness, for it is a subtle trap that has held you captive for far too long. You have taken my own sacred scripture, my holy word, and you have begun to use it as a shield for your inaction. The phrase you cling to, the one that sounds so spiritual and so faithful, is this: "I am just waiting on the Lord." But I look at your heart, and I see that you are no longer using this phrase as an expression of your deep trust in my timing. You are now using it as a holy-sounding excuse for your delay. It has become the language of your fear, not your faith. So let me teach you now what it truly means to wait on me, so you can no longer be deceived. The waiting I call for in my word is never a passive, empty, thumb-twiddling idleness. It is the most active and alert state a human soul can be in. It is the waiting of a dedicated servant whose eyes are fixed on their master, every muscle tensed, ready to move at the slightest nod. It is the waiting of a soldier on the front lines, crouched in the trench, fully armed, straining to hear the trumpet's blast that signals the charge. It is not the lazy, drowsy waiting of a sluggard in bed, who pulls the covers over their head and hopes for a more convenient breeze to eventually motivate them. The waiting I command is an active, expectant, and prayerful preparation for the next command. It is a state of profound readiness. There was a season in your life where your waiting was right and it was pleasing to me. That was your season of healing and preparation. In that season, waiting on the Lord was your primary and holy assignment. But that season is over. You have waited. You have prayed. And I have answered. I have spoken to you clearly, as I am speaking to you now. My command has been given. My spirit is moving. For you to continue to claim you are waiting now is no longer an act of faith. It has tragically crossed the line into an act of disobedience. True waiting is a posture of the heart, an attitude of constant listening and readiness. But you have turned that posture into a permanent position, a fixed location. You have pitched your tent in the land of waiting, and you refuse to pack it up, even though the pillar of my presence has lifted and is moving on. The marching orders have been given. Please, my beloved, do not confuse the sacred season of preparation with the sinful year of procrastination. One was an act of wisdom that honored me. The other is now an act of fear that grieves my spirit. The time for waiting is over. The time for walking has begun. My beloved, the season for you to claim confusion as your reason for stillness has passed. You can no longer stand before me, wringing your hands and saying, I just don't know what you want me to do, Lord. Your will is a mystery. Let us be honest with one another, you and I. I am speaking, and you are hearing. The issue has never been the clarity of my voice. It has been the clutter of other noises you have allowed to compete with it. I am speaking to you now through the living pages of my word. You have seen it, have you not? Verses you have read 100 times before have suddenly leaped from the page, shimmering with a new and personal light, shining directly on the path you are so afraid to take. That is me speaking. I am speaking to you through the undeniable circumstances I have orchestrated around you. The doors I have slammed shut in your face have been deafeningly loud, have they not? And the new doors I have creaked open, even just a little, have been so unlikely, so divinely timed, that they have taken your breath away. These are not random coincidences, my child. This is my providence, shouting my direction. And I am speaking to you in the most intimate way of all, through the deep, unshakable conviction of my Holy Spirit who dwells within you. That holy restlessness in your soul, that persistent spiritual nudge that will not leave you alone no matter how much you try to distract yourself. That is my voice, resonating within your very own spirit. So you see, the problem is not my silence. The problem is the roaring static of the world that you have allowed to fill the sacred spaces of your heart and mind. The noise of other people's expectations, the fearful clamor of what they might think, the constant, buzzing distraction of lesser things you use to keep yourself busy and numb. You must make a choice to turn down their volume so you can hear me. My voice is not meant to be just one opinion among a multitude of options for you to consider. It is the singular, authoritative, life-giving call of your Creator to the Spirit He created. Therefore, to continue in your inaction, to remain where you are, is no longer an unfortunate misunderstanding. It has not become a willful choice. You are choosing to believe your fears over my promises. You are choosing to honor your comfort over my command. And so the great, defining question of your life is no longer, what is your will for me, Lord? I have made that abundantly plain. The question that now hangs in the silence, the one that I am patiently and lovingly waiting for you to answer, is this: now that you know my will you obey it? You have been looking at this journey I am calling you to as a great and heavy task, a difficult job I am assigning you. Your mind is filled with the work, the effort it will require, the terrifying potential for failure. And because this is your focus, you are missing the entire point of the invitation. You are staring at the dusty road and overlooking the glorious destination. I am not just calling you to a task, my child. I am calling you to a profound, ongoing, and breathtaking revelation of myself. The work is simply the classroom. Knowing me is the lesson. There are awesome, beautiful, and powerful aspects of my character that you simply cannot learn from a sermon or a book. They cannot be understood in the safety of your comfort zone. They can only be truly discovered and personally experienced in the messy, risky, and glorious crucible of active faith. You can read that I am your healer, but you will never truly know me as Jehovah Rapha until you step into a place of brokenness you cannot fix and watch my power make you whole. You can memorize the truth that I am your provider, but you will never truly know me as Jehovah Jireh until you walk into a situation of lack with nothing but my promise and watch me create what you need out of thin air. You have been told that I am your banner of victory, but you will not know me as Jehovah Nissi until you face an enemy that is far stronger than you, armed only with your trust in me, and watch that enemy scatter in confusion. I am inviting you to move my names from the pages of your Bible and into the pages of your life story. I want to transform my attributes from theological concepts in your head into living, breathing testimonies in your heart. This is the secret of the journey. It is not fundamentally about what you will accomplish for me. It is about what you will come to see of me. It is an invitation to know me, your God, face to face in ways that will ruin you for a small and ordinary life forever. I long to unveil my glory to you, but my glory is not a static painting in a museum that you can admire from behind a velvet rope. It is a dynamic, moving, all-consuming fire, and it can only be seen from the path of obedience. It is in the dust and the sweat of the journey that you will see my face most clearly. The task I have set before you is merely the context for our intimacy, the setting for the revelation. Step out of your boat, walk onto the water, and I promise you, I will pull back the curtain and show you wonders you cannot yet imagine. My beloved child, you must now hear what I am about to say with the right heart. Your fear may tempt you to hear these words as a threat from an angry and impatient king. But I need you to push past that fear and hear them as they are intended, as a sorrowful, loving, and urgent declaration from a father who is watching his child stand on the edge of missing their entire destiny. I am not standing over you with a clenched fist of judgment. I am kneeling beside you, with a heart that is breaking for you, pleading with you not to let this moment pass you by. I speak to you with a divine seriousness, because I love you too much to watch you settle for the life you are currently living when I have a life of unimaginable purpose and joy waiting for you. My word says that my spirit will not strive with man forever. That is not a threat. It is a spiritual principle. My spirit is patient, he is long-suffering, but he will not wrestle with a human heart forever on a single, clear point of obedience. I will never, ever stop loving you. Let that be settled in your soul. But the specific, unique, and powerful opportunity of this current season in your life has a divine expiration date. Think of my call to you as a sound echoing in a canyon. The first call was loud, clear, and unmistakable. Each time you have hesitated, each time you have said, "Not yet," the call has been repeated. But can you not hear it? The echo is beginning to fade. It is not fading because my love for you is diminishing in any way. It is fading because the moment of this appointed opportunity is passing. A door that I have held open for you will not remain open indefinitely if you refuse to walk through it. I need you to feel the holy gravity of this moment. This is not another suggestion from me for you to take away and ponder at your leisure. This is not a topic for your next study group. This is a divine summons for this present moment in your life. The future I have meticulously designed for you, the one your heart secretly longs for, hangs on the decision you are making, not in the future, but right now, in the season of your life. For too long, my words to you have been things you reflect on, things you analyze, things you even get excited about for a little while before the feeling fades. This word today is different. This is not a word for you to think about. This is a word that must move you. It must be the divine catalyst that finally propels you from the comfortable prison of your waiting and into the glorious freedom of your walking. The echo is fading, my child. Please, I implore you, respond to my voice now. Now look. With the eyes of your spirit, I want you to see what stands directly in front of you. It is a door. It is not a door you created. It is not a door that appeared by accident. This is a door of divine opportunity, a portal into the next chapter of your life, and it has been opened for you by my own sovereign and powerful hand. Now I want you to understand a critical truth about this door, a truth that should both thrill you and sober you. Because I have opened it, no force in heaven, on earth, or under the earth can shut it. The enemy of your soul, with all his lies and accusations, cannot close this door. The discouraging opinions of other people cannot close this door. Your own past failures and feelings of inadequacy cannot close this door. It is being held open for you right now by my almighty, nail-scarred hand. But here is the great and terrible paradox of the beautiful freedom I have given you. While no one and nothing else in all of creation can shut this door, you can. You can, by your own choice, refuse to walk through it. You can choose to set up a chair in the hallway of your life and spend the rest of your days staring at the open door, admiring the light pouring through it, talking about what might be on the other side, but never actually entering. And in so doing, you effectively shut the door for your own life. The opportunity I created remains, but you will have tragically forfeited it. This is a unique and appointed time for you. It is a Kairos moment. It is not just another tick of the clock. It is a strategic, opportune moment, pregnant with eternal significance, and it hath been designed and orchestrated for you since before time began. This exact moment, with this exact set of circumstances and this exact call on your life, will not come around again in the same way. I see you standing before the door, paralyzed by analysis. You are trying to peer around the edges to see exactly what lies on the other side. You are trying to get a guarantee that it will be safe, that it will be easy, that you will not fail. You are weighing the pros and cons as if this were a simple business decision. My child, I tell you, stop analyzing the door and step through it. The life I have for you is not a problem to be solved. It is a magnificent adventure to be lived. On the other side of this door lies the next chapter of the breathtaking story that I am writing with your life. You have read and reread the current chapter until the words are faded and worn. You know it by heart. It is time to turn the page. And the only way to turn the page is to walk through the door. My promise to you is this: the door is open. That is my part. Your responsibility is this: you must have the faith to enter. I will not push you. I will not force you. I will hold it open and lovingly call your name. The rest, my beloved, is up to you. The door to your destiny is standing open before you, held by my own sovereign hand. To stop listening now is to turn your back on the single greatest opportunity of this season of your life. Do not wound me by choosing the hallway of hesitation over the home I have prepared for you. I have only a little more to say, and these final words are the ones that will carry you across the threshold. Grant me this last moment, for your entire future is waiting on it. As you stand at that open door, I hear the deepest fear that lies beneath all your other excuses. It is the raw, primal fear of being alone. You look at the path that lies beyond the threshold, and it seems so solitary, so unknown. You believe that you must summon all the courage, all the strength, and all the wisdom from within your own limited resources to walk it by yourself. My precious child, where did you ever get such a lonely and mistaken idea? Have you not listened to my promises? I have never, not once in all of eternity, asked you to do this alone. The very thought is foreign to my nature as your father. You must understand the difference between me sending you and me taking you. To send you would be to stand at the doorway, point you in a direction, and wish you the best of luck. But I am not sending you. I am taking you. I am reaching my hand through the doorway, grasping your hand firmly in mine, and saying, "Let us go on this journey together." My promise to Moses in the wilderness is the same promise I make to you today. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. I am not simply pointing the way for you. I am the way. I am not just giving you a map to follow. I am your ever-present guide who will walk with you every single step. And I have not left you without human companionship on this journey. From your vantage point in the hallway, you cannot see them yet, but I have already stationed people on the path ahead of you. I have prepared divine connections for you. There are helpers who will appear at just the right moment to offer you a drink of encouragement when you are thirsty. There are wise counselors who will help you navigate a tricky part of the path. There are fellow travelers who will join you for a season, sharing their stories and their strength with you. You think you are stepping into isolation, but I am actually leading you into a divinely appointed community you cannot yet see. And you are never, ever without the most intimate companion of all. The Holy Spirit, the Comforter I have sent to you, is not just with you, He is in you. He is your constant advocate, pleading your case before me. He is your counselor, whispering my wisdom into your spirit. He is your guide, illuminating the very next step on the path. You are not stepping out into a terrifying emptiness. You are stepping into the fullness of my triune presence. The profound irony is this: the loneliness you so deeply fear is actually the place where you are living right now, in your place of waiting, isolated by your own fears. The truest, deepest, and most satisfying companionship you will ever know is found on the risky, faith-filled road of my will, where our moment-by-moment dependence on each other becomes blessedly real and tangible. Do not fear being alone. Fear a life lived without the grand adventure of my company. As we come to the very heart of this matter, it is crucial that you guard your soul against the lies the enemy will now try to sow. He will take my words of loving urgency and twist them into a weapon of condemnation. He will whisper to you that this divine ultimatum, this declaration, that I will not wait any longer, is the final proof of my rejection. He wants you to believe that my patience has finally run out, that my arms, once open to you, are now crossed in stern judgment, and that I am turning my back on you in your hesitation. You must see that life are the empty, powerless thing that it is. And now look at me. See me as I truly am. My arms are not crossed. They are outstretched towards you, just as they have always been. But I need you to see their posture, for it has changed. They are not outstretched in a passive invitation to a place of rest, as they were in your season of healing. My arms are now outstretched to lead, to pull you forward into the powerful and rushing current of my purpose. I am reaching for you now, not to coddle you in your comfort, but to rescue you from it. My grasp is firm, my call is urgent, not because I am angry, but because I am a good father who sees his child lingering in a place of danger they have tragically mistaken for safety. You have been content for so long to admire the strength of my hand as it held you steady in your stillness, and that was a beautiful and necessary season. But that same hand, the one that steadied you, now insists on leading you. The hand that once served as your anchor in the harbor must now become your compass and your engine on the high seas. You think I am leaving you behind. That is a thought born of your fear, not my heart. I will never leave you, but I am moving ahead, and I am demanding, with a love that is more fierce and holy than you can comprehend, that you keep pace with me. To lag behind now is to choose to be separated from the dynamic flow of my presence, where all the provision and protection is. This is it, my child. This is perhaps the ultimate act of faith I will ask of you. It was one thing to trust me in your stillness. It is another thing entirely to trust me in my movement. It is the profound belief, deep in the marrow of your bones, that my forward momentum is always for your good, even when it leads you away from the comfortable and the familiar and into the frightening and the unknown. It is trusting that the pace I am setting is the perfect one for the glorious destiny I have meticulously planned for you. You have felt my love as a place of refuge. Now you must learn to feel it as a mighty wind at your back, pushing you forward. So take my hand. Right now, in your heart, make a choice. Reach out and take my hand. Feel the strength and the warmth in my grip. It is the same hand that formed the mountains and that holds the stars in their courses. And it is the same hand that was pierced with a nail for your salvation. It is a hand of infinite power and of unconditional, unending love. The journey you fear begins at the precise, sacred, and powerful moment that your waiting finally and forever ends. Take my hand. Let's go. You think of eternity as a far-off destination, a beautiful, distant shore you will arrive at when your time on this earth is done. And in one sense, it is that. But it is so much more. Eternity is also a quality of life, a depth and richness of living that is meant to begin the very moment you align your heart, your soul, and your will with my eternal purposes. You do not have to wait until you die to begin living an eternal life. The substance of heaven, which is a life lived in perfect communion and purpose with me, is available to you right now. It begins with your obedience. I paid an infinite price, offering my own life on the cross, not just to rescue you from an eternity in hell, but to give you a truly abundant, purposeful, eternal life right here, in this present age. Every time you whisper to me, tomorrow, you are postponing the very life I died to give you. You are choosing to wade in the shallow, muddy waters of your own plans when I have opened up the entire, magnificent ocean of my will for you to explore. The word tomorrow is the most dangerous and deceptive word in your spiritual vocabulary. It is the sweet, soothing lullaby the enemy of your soul sings to keep my precious children asleep. It sounds so harmless, so reasonable, so full of wisdom. But its only purpose is to ensure that your divine destiny never actually arrives. The enemy knows he cannot usually defeat you with a direct, frontal assault, so he uses this subtle poison of postponement. He knows that a yes that is always meant for tomorrow is, in reality, a no for today. And today is the only time you have. Today is the only place your faith can be exercised. Today is the only moment where you have the power to choose. This is why my scripture pleads with you, with such desperate urgency, again and again. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. The call of heaven is always for today. The grace I provide is for today. The strength you need is for today. The kingdom of heaven is not a distant, future reality. My word declares that it is at hand. It is within your reach, but it must be seized by the violent force of a determined faith. It must be actively pursued by those who are done with excuses, not passively waited for by the hesitant. And so we have come to the end of this long and intimate conversation, but to the true beginning of your decision. We have come full circle. I have opened my heart to you. I have revealed the path that lies before you. I have warned you of the soul-destroying dangers of delay. I have promised you my unfailing presence and my limitless power. There is nothing left to say. There are no more signs to wait for. There is no more clarity to be gained from stillness. The clarity you seek is on the other side of your obedience. My child, look me in the eyes of your spirit. I love you with an everlasting love. And because I love you, because I will not stand by and watch you miss the magnificent life for which you were created, I will not wait any longer. Let your hesitation die in this holy moment. Let your fears be nailed to the cross with your past self. Let your response be immediate. Let your faith be absolute. Let your glorious, eternal journey begin now. I have declared that your journey begins now, not tomorrow, for today is the day of your salvation. If you have heard my voice and your spirit has committed to move, then let this be the first tangible proof of your decision. This act of giving is you stepping across the line from hesitation to action, planting the first seed of faith in the new land of your purpose. Your immediate response will arm this message to go forth and rescue another soul who is just 1 second away from saying tomorrow one last time. I am commanding you now as I commanded my people of old, bring the full tithe into the storehouse, so there may be spiritual food in my house to feed the nations with this life-saving word. Trust me in this. Your eternity begins with this single, decisive act of faith. As you obey, watch as I throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing so great you will not have room enough to contain it. Obey now. Let your giving through super thanks, membership, or the link below be the sound of your feet hitting the path. My child, do not let this word simply fade into silence. I have spoken, and now you must respond to seal this moment in eternity. Go now to the space below and make your declaration before heaven and earth, letting your fingers type the very words that break the chains of hesitation. With a courageous heart, write, "My waiting is over. I am walking with you." Let this be your first undeniable step out of the boat and onto the water. Do it now, and feel the shift as your obedience echoes in the heavens. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.